schedule. It's kind of how the dynamics of the group work.
And then you're going to come down to the stables and you'll start working with the horses. And it's nothing mandatory. Like our first session, we got out here and we just started grooming a horse. Patrick showed us how to groom a horse, and it was just fun. And as we're grooming a horse, we're telling our story.
You get to see
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Do you ever have one of those moments where you think, how the hell did I get here? Jeez, what happened to me? I was ruling the galaxy. Had a cherry new battle station. I mean, this place had an omelet bar. A straight-up omelet bar. And now, look. My former intern's tossing me down a bottomless freaking pit. You know, come to think of it, my whole life has been a series of what-the-f moments. That was my out.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I looked my woman in the eye sockets. I told her straight out. I just said it, man. I said it. I said, bitch, I'm the man of the house.
Yeah, you said bitch, though. You called your wife a bitch.
Yeah.
This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
Let's roll.
All right. Welcome to the Monday edition, broadcasting live from the Functional Veteran Center of Excellence. This is Ice.
Dun, 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 dun.
And your co-host, The Flash.
What's going on?
Broadcasting live from the Functional Veteran Center of Excellence on this 25 March 2019. Siempre. Bienvenidos. Willkommen. Welcome to WTF Nation Radio's Monday edition.
It's going to get crazy.
It is going to get crazy. So what's going on, everybody in the chat? Let me tell you what's going on right now in the Facebook's world. Why are we not broadcasting normally like on we do on U.S. Army WTF Moments? It just comes on if you're following that. You're noticing some shares. But Facebook is going through some server stuff that our servers were involved with. So until about May 1, everything that has to do with some sort of broadcasting or whatever, Facebook's is going to Facebook's with Facebook's and however they want. So tough shit, lottie-dottie.
Facebook needs to get their shit together.
Right, that's just what it is. Which, you know, if you are not articulate, cannot find
Holly.
different ways. Oh, shit, I forgot. All those chats are now coming in here. So, oh, man. What's up, Holly? What's up, Bailey? What's up, Tyler? What's up, Truth Army Recruiting? What's going on, guys? And y'all jumping in there. Appreciate it.
What's up?
Yeah, so you know, if there are different platforms that you cannot get a hold of WTF Nation Radio on, then that's on you. That really is on you. This is
we are literally everywhere. We're on Periscope, and the Periscope's actually on Twitter. We're on YouTube. I think we're still on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, we're still on YouTube.
We're still on YouTube,
Yep.
Facebook. I mean, and you can go to WTFNationRadio.com and listen to us there. And you can download the podcast on iTunes or on the website. So even if you can only listen to a little bit, you can download it and listen to the rest of it. Hashtag shameless plug.
Shameless as hell. The thing is that you guys got to realize that the amount of technologies, the WTF Nation Functional Veteran Center of Excellence is an initiative-based organization that requires you to go find out your shit yourself. We are not going to just give you guys fucking handouts, and if you can't figure it out, then maybe you shouldn't be in the WTF Nation.
Just figure it out.
It's easy to figure out with all the platforms that we have. I'm really pissed off right now.
Why are you pissed off?
I'm just pissed off at a lot of shit. Just things that are going on the webs and on the Twitterverse and all that.
I
But
know, I've been gone a bit, so it's
yeah, it's okay. Look, real quick. First off, let me talk about the butthurt factor and rumors. All right.
butthurt.
Rumors is that yes, there is a Tech 9 that died, but not that Tech 9. There's reports right now from iHeartRadio stating that Tech 9 is dead, but the way they wrote it as if our beloved Tech 9 is dead, and it's not. It is Tech 9 born Akeem Mickens. The Philadelphia lyricist's death was supposedly announced via a Facebook post from Butta from the Block, a fellow rapper and friend of Tech 9. Now, mind you, this is a Philadelphia-based rapper. Now, of course, third paragraph in, of course, because you know how iHeartRadio is, because they're kind of sucking on stats. That's another group that we could talk about, since I'm already in a pissed-off mood. Not to be mistaken for Missouri rapper and strange music founder with a similar stage name, Tech 9. That one. He also attributed the fallen MC. So look, headlines are pissing me off.
Holly, why did Ice get a hey and I only got a high? What kind of bullshit is that? Sorry, I've already had a couple of shots.
I was about to say, dude, why you were talking about being fucking sensitive, dude. You are the sensitive one.
I was just asking a question, you know, nothing sensitive about. I won't lie. There's a couple of there's at least 3 or 4 shots of Maker's Mark's already in my belly, and I just had me a peanut butter and honey and banana sandwich. So I'm ready to go. So I'm sorry. I mean, Tech 9's not dead.
So Tech 9 of the Missouri-based rapper.
iHeartRadio sucks.
Yeah. So thank you for reading it down. For going like 3 pages down the fucking chat or down the fucking paragraph of the story by then making it clarified that it was not the Tech 9. I'm not saying he wasn't a good rapper, the other Tech 9, but the Tech 9. So that's been posted all up and everyone's flipping the fuck out. And I'm thinking, no, if that was really Tech 9, I would have, closed everything up and we would have flown to now. So anyways. So, hearts go out and condolences go out to the family of the other Tech 9, but not the Tech 9. So, anyway, so that's one thing. The second thing.
Look here, Tyler. I'm public affairs. There's a bit of just ego stroking that I need. There we go. I got a hey. There, Bailey and Holly, I love you both. Okay.
Ego stroking is not the fucking word. Oh, my God. Holy fuck. If there was ever a fucking person who could test out the Spotlight Factory, it's a PAO. Anyways, what I was saying, the butthurt factor. Hi, it's the place focus on center stage is Flash. Anyways, so
this is gonna be fun.
So real quick, so butthurt number 1 in the case of a butthurtness of the butthurtness.
The butthurt uno.
So if you guys don't already know this was going to be a story that we were going to talk about last week, but it's still getting some fire. Because my alma mater, the 1st Armor Division, we were going to talk about it. But since we had Lou Fernandez on there, we were cutting up for, it was a 2.5, just about 2 hours. Well, 2 full hours of us just going back and forth on Conus Battle Drills and his new book. So we went, there were some stories that we didn't go. But ironically, the moon and the stars lined up. And fate that we would discuss about some Twitter drama. And it turns out that the 1st Armor Division, and if you go ahead and you direct your attention up to your pictures and your pictile devices, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson tweeted out, "I'm sending a salute and respect and gratitude of the Black Hawk Squadron, 1st Armor Division, in honor of naming their tank Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson." That's what I'm talking about.
Hell yeah! You smell The Rock's cooking, people's elbow, and everything.
That's right.
Man.
Can you smell what The Rock is cooking? Now,
see, The Rock came in wrestling right at the perfect time with Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, and what do you call it, X-Force or whatever. So I love that they and he's been pretty awesome when it comes to movies. I love that they put his name on there because The Rock is awesome. But hashtag butthurt. Oh my God. The reactions that he got for that message saying, I salute the 1st Armor Division and the 3rd Squadron for putting him on there.
Yeah, and he wrote
Butthurt was
he wrote heavy duty badass, and then on his Instagram he wrote heavy duty badass sexy as fuck. So
sexy as fuck.
Yeah,
I will.
And so there's the of course the obligatory cav man. I'm a cav man, and here's my tank. Dwayne Rock draws on. Take a look at that. Means worlds to me. It's a new one named Turk. But anyways, going back to what I was saying. So there was a lot of drama. There was a lot of hate. Now, we talked about this before. If Facebook was an actual piece of land, it would be a fucking trailer park. And then I equated Twitter to being the overflowing urinal full of piss and everything that is leaking all over the place. And that thin line of liquid, of dirt, crap, and whatever that is in a bar that just smells like ass, that thin line of substance that your boots are on, that's Twitter.
That was very descriptive. Like, I'm actually getting a little queasy from that.
Well, I mean, I've attended such establishments, and that, when you've been around, you're my age, you've seen some places. So that is a drama fest. So some of the comments like, how do you feel about having a vehicle named after you that's all about death? Well, again, ladies and gentlemen of the WTF Nation, ladies and gentlemen around the world, in case you did not know what the business of the United States Army was, we can get all cheesy and officer-like and say, it's to win wars. And all. No. When you when you see guys, when you see the guys pulling on lanyards, firing on, loading up breaches, fucking firing tanks, machine gun and stuff, those rounds are going to other human beings, okay?
That's not just for show, my people.
It is
Let
not,
me tell you.
oh, load it. It is not for modular demonstration.
Destroy the shit out of someone.
It is not the salvation. Oh, yeah. Amen. It's a salvation of freedom coming down on you.
They just saved me from all these damn Russians and Chineses by blowing them sky high with Dwayne the Rock Johnson tank.
Dude, could you imagine going down range and all of a sudden seeing that thing running down the road? Fuck.
Oh, man. I need another shot. I don't know where that came from, but I love it.
Dude,
I'm saying, like, I won't lie, I picked at a couple of exceptional hashtag butthurt folks on his Facebook page.
Send it.
Because, here's my thing. It's cool. I mean, if they put my name on it, of course I'd say something, but because he's The Rock. Now, let's take a step back. What has The Rock done, Dwayne Johnson done his whole career? He started off in wrestling where he was, fake or not fake, and sometimes the blind blurred, was a wrestler bent on beating the shit out of other people. He went to movies. Name one romantic comedy The Rock is in. The softest movie
Jumanji.
The Rock has done.
Jumanji with him and Kevin Hart. That was a romantic movie. That wasn't a romantic movie? I'm just kidding. He's going to beat my ass.
The only movie that I've seen that he didn't actually fight anybody was Be Cool, which I think was one of the first movies he was ever in besides The Scorpion, which, in
Scorpion King.
Scorpion King. He beat, or The Mummy 2, really. And it was The Mummy 2, and then it was Scorpion King, actually. But he was in Be Cool that had Vince Vaughn. It had, John Travolta.
Yep.
And it was a sequel off of Get Shorty or something like that. So that was like one of the first movies, and that's the only one where he actually didn't fight anybody. Outside of that, The Rock, all he does is action movies because he kicks ass. So, okay. So some tankers decided to put his name on the barrel of their tank. That's awesome. And then I praise The Rock for doing his little salute to these knuckleheads that put his name on the barrel. That's awesome. But for all these hashtag butthurt, and I don't use the term snowflake. I think that's stupid. That, and every time I talk about the snow outside, I feel like it's like snowflake. I'm talking about some crazy person who's crying in their corner, especially on CNN.
And you're insulting real snow.
And I'm insulting real snow. But the fact that, these are weapons of war, and somebody went on to say these won't ever be used. I'm like, we pray they will never be used, because these 19-year-old to 24-year-olds are hopped up on Rippets, are ready to put saber rounds in people's faces. So yeah, I mean, they're like, they'll never be used. I'm like, let's hope they'll never be used. A lot of our military force is a deterrent. We're set up so people don't want to fight us, but if they do, we're gonna fuck their world up. And they're like losing the shit, and they're like, you're losing me as a follower. I want to be on, like, bye, Felicia. You'll be back in a couple weeks anyways, the next time The Rock does a new movie, because The Rock, besides Skyscraper, that kind of sucked ass. But majority of his movies are actually, I very much enjoy. Even Rampage, I enjoy the shit out of, even though it was.
He's a good entertainer. He's a good entertainer. He's a good fucking. When you go see the Rock movie, you're going to get action-packed, good fun, a little bit of comedy and all that. That's just the way he rolls, the way he does it.
That's right. He did play the Tooth Fairy, but technically, going back on my point of hitting people, he was a hockey player, and he did hit a couple people in the movie. But yes, he was in. I think it was called the Tooth Fairy or something like that. I mean, The Rock is a really. I actually know a guy who's met him, and he said he's very down to earth. He's a very nice person. Like how he comes off in a lot of these movies / how he comes off in these interviews afterwards is how he really is, which is great. He's visited a lot of soldiers, and I've heard he's a great person to want to be around. And the fact that you're losing followers, like, really, even if he loses a couple thousand, the man's got millions of followers. And I'm not just talking I'm talking about if tracking his social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, millions of followers on all of them. A couple thousand of you people that are losing your shit because somebody decided to put and probably got a commander's approval or whatnot. Because I don't know how tanks are named, so I'm gonna assume that the commander had to sign off, so there wasn't Tanky McTanker on the damn barrel.
I'm surprised that shit's making a comeback.
Tanky McTanker?
No. No, nose art, naming your vehicles and stuff, and putting. You know what I mean? So you need to be on Twitter more often. You see some really good ones that a lot of these tankers have been putting up through their unit's Facebook page. But yeah, it's been making a big comeback. Especially, I could say at least in the last 6 months, I've seen a lot more on social media. But there's been some good ones. Like they're not stupid like Bodie McBoatface, but like there's some actually like good tanker ones or whatnot. And then #Mill Twitter. It's actually been like people are like, what would you name your tanks? With a couple of senior leaders actually getting in on the fun of what would you name your tank. So it's kind of making a comeback. But the fact that people are losing their shit because The Rock said, thank you, you guys are awesome, is beyond me. Guess what? You're just, you can't, it goes the old adage, you can't please everyone. And I'm so glad. And people were telling The Rock to take that down, like on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. Take this post down. You shouldn't be saluting these weapons of war and blah blah blah. And I'm so glad he's left it up. I mean, and he did exactly what I would hope he would do if I was directing him as a social media person. He moved on to the next thing, and he's not entertaining people being butthurt about it because so many people are appreciating, and we're missing that. So many people are appreciating the shout out to the military, the shout out that somebody that he saw it and liked it. I was about to say that's his thing too.
Somebody put him on a tank,
right? That's his big thing.
A lot of people that love it, so he ignored that and just went on to the next thing. And already that's dying down, but still the butthurt is pretty. I won't lie, I kind of pissed off a couple of people because I asked simple questions like, do you wake up going, how am I going to just piss off today, or how am I just going to cry myself?
There are just some bitter people out there that don't that get too hyped up and get wrapped around themselves, all that shit, man. But
and you know what? Sucks to be them. Yeah. Life's short.
Well, I mean, he somebody said in there he's a big supporter of vets. Like he visits.
Alania says she would totally have his babies. There's probably a lot of women that would be all over that. Just saying.
Me too, Alania. Me too.
I've got to match you. If I can get my muscle, like he's been like The Rock has been pushing out some like weightlifting stuff, which is you don't really see him actually push out like not programs, but like showing him doing weightlifting and stuff like that. It's just never. I mean, even as a wrestler, that's of course when he was a wrestler, social media wasn't actually a thing. Even at the end of his like WWE career, there wasn't really much of social media. But still, you don't see it much. But you've been seeing a lot of like on TV and on Facebook and Instagram. And I'm like, man, I won't lie, man crush. I want to have biceps like that motherfucker right there.
Dude, he's like I said, he's just a good dude. I mean, he's just fucking. I mean,
but he's also a really nice guy, and I appreciate the shit.
Yeah, dude. Don't throw no hate on The Rock.
It's weird.
It's gonna be in one of his movies. He likes doing that stuff. Something that happens in real life or something like that. He'll
boy and a super soft. I believe it. I 100% believe it. I 100% believe he's a big mama's boy, and and I think that's cool. And before I start having a love affair with The Rock, because my wife will come in here and be like, "Yes, please." I mean, but The Rock
You
is
do
a
tend
really
to
cool
rant.
guy. And we do appreciate his shout to the military, and we do think that some people just, sucks to be you. You just, oh man, you think you're gonna shame The Rock into taking down a post about his name being on a tank? What person would be all heartbroken about putting their name on a tank? I guarantee there's not one person that I can think of that if you put their name on a tank, they would not think that's the coolest thing ever.
Right. And the fact that I think it's awesome to see The Rock tweeting in his Twitter account the 1st Armor Division, because being, like I said, that's my alma mater. So 1st Armor Division, Iron Soldiers all the way. That's what I'm talking about. The Rock, give him the props. That's what I'm talking. I like that shit. That's what I'm talking about. He's naming them. He's not saying, "Oh, I saw my name on a tank." No, he's straight up Black Hawk Squadron, 1st Armor Division. Bam. That's right to you guys, man. You guys in 1st Armor Division. That's awesome stuff. That's the shit that I want to see. You know what I mean? That's the one I'm talking about.
I mean, it's not 1st Cav, but it's still pretty cool. 1st Armored.
He said armored. That's where tanks go in an armored division. They don't go in like blah, 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 blah. What do they call them? Blah, blah, blah. I can't even say the word. Blah, 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 blah. I can't even say the word right. Anyway, it's cavalry.
Hey, do not hate on the combined arms battalions that we got over there, and 1st Cav. We rock the joint from so many levels, except 3CR. They always get stuck in ditches.
Isn't that what you guys have in your blotter? You guys rocking the joints, all right? Oh man. Anyways, so moving on to the next story. Okay, so real quick. So going back on that,
more butthurt.
We're gonna go more butthurt. Now, this is more butthurt stuff that happened at the DoubleTree Inn in Colorado Springs. This is right now. It's I guess they were having an event. 600 personnel, an Army unit having their stuff, having their. I guess they were having like a dining in or welcome home celebration and something to the effect where they were welcoming home their soldiers and all that. And there was somebody that posted originally from on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter that so last night, quote, "We took over 600 people to the DoubleTree Inn and paid over $50 a person. They came in and shut down our traditions, treated us like crap, refused to leave food for our guests in the bathroom. We're chatting. They said that they were all seated and will be served. They charge over $12 a drink, which we all paid, and then left the sign at the bar. The sign says, 'No longer serving military personnel at their guests and their guests.'" So immediately
say what now?
Yeah, exactly. They shut them down. No longer serving military personnel and their guests. Guests. 2 employees involved no longer work at the hotel now, according to Daniel Kammerer, the general manager at the DoubleTree Colorado Springs. Also released the following statement in a social media post. Twitter. That was on Twitter again. "Our property has a proud history of hiring veterans and welcoming the military as our guests. Last night, 2 of our team members acted without a proper authority to close and exclude military guests from our hotel bar. This action is inconsistent with our values, and we humbly apologize. The 2 team members are no longer employed at the property, and we have attempted to contact the leaders of the group and apologize and confirm that our property is one that welcomes all, especially the men and women who serve our country." So, don't be throwing no fucking hate mail at the DoubleTree Inn in Colorado Springs, because a lot of headlines on Twitter and all that are very deceiving. iHeartRadio talking about some shit that has been alleviated. So after a mix-up, soldier, you could write 2 employees fired after refusing to serve military personnel would probably have been a better headline than saying, no, wait, they do that. My bad. It was another article that didn't. It was the, who was it? Connecting Vets was the one that corrected it and made the correct one. It was, who the fuck was the other one? It was another one that did not. So Connecting Vets was the one that corrected it and made a better headline by saying Colorado hotel fire staff over no longer serving military. Another post, hang on, where's that fucking post that I had it up? Another post did not. It was one of them rage machines on fucking Twitter. Just fucking done with it, dude. Just fucking done with it. Tough shit. Tough. Who cares?
Sometimes I just want to drink myself into oblivion when I read stories like
the action's already freaking happened and all that stuff. They want to penalize a company that's done it, that's handled it, stuff.
Well, you know what? Well, then I'll say it right here. As Flash myself, I will say I appreciate the Colorado Springs DoubleTree for correcting the issue, because I hate it when people hold you have like a person from PetSmart kick a dog, and they say PetSmart hates dogs.
Right.
That's to me, when people write headlines like that, to me that's misleading, and it's just unethical journalism. Like, you're not telling the correct story. You're not so in the AP Style Guide book, which almost every journalist has, and majority of PAOs have, at least within the last 3 years or so, because there's small changes, but not usually anything big. But there's always a section on ethics. There's actually lots of sections in the AP Style Guide that do not pertain with how writing, but just how to be a journalist, and how to perfect your journalism. More people need to read those, because they come up with these sensational headlines that, they're trying to, it's like they're trying to self-righteously bring down a company. Yes, did some bad shit happen at your establishment? Did you correct the situation because you do not believe what they did was right? Yes, you did. I always say, if you stand behind your employees, stand behind your employees. If you don't, fucking fire their asses. They chose to fire their asses. I do not hold DoubleTree responsible for the actions of these employees. I hold those two employees responsible for their own actions.
Right.
And say, fuck you guys, get out of here. I'm glad that, I won't say justice was done, but I'm glad that a company decided, to stand up, for what they felt was the right and wrong of the situation. I'm not saying that they're pro-military or not pro-military. I'm just saying that, treating guests fairly and not discriminating because they're like, we're not serving military people or their guests, is a form of discrimination.
It is.
Technically veterans are considered a protected class.
Are we? Are we protected? Holy shit! Somebody researched that. Are we protected?
It is. I have to triple check it just to make sure. But because we just did in my government office, we just did a whole ethics thing, and veterans are considered a protected class. Some people think we're fucking crazy. Majority of them are right, but anyways, but it's still even if they weren't protected class, it's still a discrimination against a group of people because they are in the military, and discrimination is wrong, whether it's religion or the color of their skin or who they work for. It's like saying, oh, you work for Fox News, we're not going to serve you. Don't be a dick. Like, do your job.
And I didn't want to get into politics a little bit, but this is the thing that makes me mad, is that right now you're having the president. The president is freaking sending out like I don't want to say it's a hit list, but pretty much saying, these are the people that talk bad about me. These are the people that hurt my feelings, or these are the people that said bad stuff about me that was fake news or lies, or there's not collusion. Because everybody, if y'all not been paying attention to the news and everything, that's been because I've avoided all of the news channels because of everything's all about there's no evidence of collusion, but he's not completely exonerated comment that everyone's losing their fucking shit over. That's fucking Mueller report's been released.
Hold on. So if you have not been paying attention, quick synopsis. Mueller, who is investigating with his team Russian collusion into the 2016 election, and whether or not the Trump administration / campaign worked with Russia to gain an edge on the Clinton campaign. After 2 years, they submitted their findings in their giant ass report to the AG Barr. They submitted to him, I think it was like last Friday, and then later he came out with a 4-page summary, because usually what they do with these giant things is they do a summary because parts of it can be deemed classified. So they do a summary that was released to /public /Congress, and AG Barr concluded that from Mueller's investigation and that there was no collusion or obstruction, which is making everyone on the right who super supports Trump very happy. Now, that does not mean there's a couple things with that need to be said, because depending on which news outlet, like CNN is like going straight to all the other stuff because they don't want it. A lot of people are like, you got to eat crow because CNN's been saying Mueller's been closing in. It's not that case. Couple things. One, a bunch of people, a couple of people have been indicted. I think there's like 5 to 7 of them have actually been have either accepted guilty pleas, and then one has actually went to trial and been found guilty. So there's been a bunch of people who've been connected. Majority of it was lying to the FBI. It wasn't working with Russia. It was majority of the stuff that people are getting hemmed up for is for lying to the FBI, which is wrong. They had like 500 witnesses. They did this over 2 years. And then they had a whole bunch of indictments. Now, a couple other things to take in mind that Mueller also shuffled out a couple of things to local prosecutors in Northern Virginia, in Southern New York, like New York City, Southern New York. So there are
Southern New York. Yeah, that's New York City, dude.
CNN said Southern New York, and I was Southern New York District. And I was like, "What the fuck is Southern New York District?"
They don't want to say. They don't want to say that New York is moving in on them. Is what they want.
Yeah, so there is still potential that there are other things coming from this. It is, and Fox is totally shooting out. There is no collusion. Trump is innocent. Fuck you guys. We told you. And then CNN is going the opposite. Well, there's actually this, that, and the other. It's a combination. In Barr's actual letter, it does say there is no sign, there is no indication or evidence of collusion or obstruction, but does not exonerate President Trump, which means there could be some other stuff. But for the bit long and short of Mueller's 2-year investigation, there is nothing to pin on Donald Trump or his campaign. Is everyone innocent? Nope, because a bunch of people have already been hemmed up, including his former lawyer, the former General Flynn, and a bunch of other folks that and damn it, the other one, Manafort. And there's still a bunch of other ones.
According to Sean Hannity, he freaking there's like, dude, okay. Someone told me, Ice, you're being anti Fox News and you need to stop. I'm
anti all big news.
You need to open your mind. So I said, okay, well, if you stop watching this, I like, you're right. We watch all fucking channels. We have to. We have to grab all of them and then decide for ourselves which one's not going to fucking be the whiny. So someone listening, we had a conversation just like we talked about when Rush Limbaugh was talking some smack and we dimed his ass out and he got all butthurt. The same thing, Sean Hannity, dude. I felt like I was watching him a year and a half ago. It was repeating. He kept repeating and repeating and repeating. And there was no dialogue. There's nothing. Wasn't there some shit going on between him and D. Treasy's the same dude that got busted too? And he said,
Don't forget, Sean Hannity was totally caught being, dipping into between ethical journalism and favoritism and shit like that.
Correct. And saying, no. I was just using him for legal advice. for real estate advice.
Sean Hannity can go suck an egg.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And then Rachel Maddow on MSNBC was crying just like she did the 2016 election night, because she's crying because, CNN is not perfect, and CNN sucks a lot of ways, but they're not MSNBC. MSNBC literally for the last couple weeks was Mueller's closing in. Here it comes. Trump's going down. Like the whole time, and the fact that the rug got pulled under them. Yes, we don't know what other are going to come out from these other prosecution stuff, but they aren't going to hammer Trump, because if they were, Mueller would have pushed out more indictments, but he didn't. He's the guy who would go after the president, not some DA in Northern Virginia or New York. So I don't think while yes, Trump is not out of the woods, Trump probably people around Trump are probably going to get effed up, and they're going to try to see if he can flip. Trump is not going to get hurt by this. And I posted this on Facebook. Who does this help more? Does this help Trump more, or does it help Trump more or hurt the Democrats worse? And that's a wholly different thing. But Rachel Maddow was talking about it, and she had tears in her eyes because she realized this is like she's had PTSD from 2016 in November 2016, where Hillary Clinton lost in a big fashion. And it's just funny seeing one, yes, you have all the Fox folks that are like literally running naked in the streets going, "We told you."
Oh my
But
God!
then you have
It's just fucking
you have
going
Van
nuts,
Jones,
man.
you have Lou Dobbs.
No,
you have-
Van Jones even said, "Dude, stop. You're done. You take your time to grieve." Van Jones literally said, "Y'all need to take your time to
you
grieve."
know what? I did watch that.
I saw that.
I watched Van Jones talking with the Republican against the Republican strategist, and she was kind of annoying as shit.
Yeah.
But Van Jones was like, "Hey, if the Democrats are paraphrasing, because I was a little tired. It was like 6 a.m. when I watched it. Paraphrasing, Van Jones was like, the Democrats need to console, readjust, and then go after the issues because they literally." And then there was an opinion piece on CNN going, "Did Mueller just handed Trump the 2020 campaign victory?" So the Democrats need to get away.
What are you talking about, dude? What do you think is going to happen when the 2020 election's running? It's running right now. They still think that the Russians are involved. I'm not saying the Russians are not involved in fucking interfering with our elections, because they are fucking totally involved. Russia, China, our foreign adversaries are all up in the cyber war against us, and we just do shit. So they've always been doing it.
Let's not forget, we've been fucking with other people's elections and governments for years.
Kenya.
Why wouldn't they be trying to do the same thing to us? It'd be naive as shit for Johnny Rocket at home,
Kosovo.
and Betty Sue,
Iraq.
Chandler at home, to think that no other country is fucking with us like we've been fucking with other countries. I mean,
Israel.
Between how many regime changes? Don't forget the Obama administration and Arab Spring, where they all went, "Hey, fucking change the world, guys," and then it didn't work out exactly how they thought it was going to. But still, we weren't helping the situation. We were, well, let me just throw a little gasoline on that fire. Yeah, we don't like Udabi or whatever the guy is in Libya. He got fucked up.
He got jacked up.
He got jacked up.
I
mean, we've been fucking with other people's elections since what?
Right.
The 50s.
Like I said, there was even evidence or purported evidence that we were interfering with Israel's elections with Netanyahu. So I mean, again, if the whole fucking thing is they're going to be involved. What my whole point was is that they're going to be involved in this. This has got me. I want to know how many fucking jobs are being created. I want to know why the Ferris Doctrine is still slowing. I want to know why medicinal marijuana in certain states have not. I want to know why, you signed a bill, D. Treasy, on he signed a bill to hopefully reduce suicides, but we're still having suicides in the veteran community. I want to know some shit like that. I want to know why TRICARE for reservists is having so many issues, and they're saying they're paying into this so that way you can get that copay for being a reservist. Why is there having issues? I want to know why retirees get specific benefits for serving so many amount of time, and other retirees get exempted from a certain amount of time. That is some of the issues as veterans we need to be looking at, that we're not seeing through anything. We're not seeing through a fog of anything. We're seeing everybody arguing and fighting and not really at all coming to a head or agree. I tell you what, dude, when you have Congress, it just seems like when someone says they're running for Congress or someone says they're running for an elected office in Senate, you're going to go up there. It's almost like you're going up in there and drinking their Oh yeah, you just drink their fucking Kool-Aid. Hey, what about all those jobs that you said you're promised? You didn't fucking do that. Every single congressperson up there on the Hill says, I entered, they say this, no shit. If you watch, listen to how they talk. I entered a bill. It was I that did this. I didn't do that. It wasn't, this is a partisan issue, or I'm fighting against the Republicans, or I'm fighting against the Democrats. That's why they're not doing it. I. Bitch, you work for the people. You work for us. There's been no reason why other than setting you up there to do that shit. I got some friends right now. Some friends that I know that are dealing with PTSD stuff and all that, and seeking mental help and all that. What's up with that fucking phone line? Do you know the medical system right now for the veterans? For some, it's really great. For some, it's not. Why is that disparity like that? Why is it so hard for a veteran to go out and get information and go seek some help without having to worry about going to a fucking Facebook page like U.S. Army WTF Moments to get help? Think about it right now. A Facebook page is doing more for veterans than our own elected officials for veterans that they say they're going up there for veterans. A Facebook page. So when everyone says, "Oh well, this Trump this and Trump that," I hate every single elected official that's up there right now for that bullshit right there, for that fucking bullshit right there. gonna fucking tell me you're gonna go up there and fucking help and work for fucking vets and shit like that. Blast yourself on fucking Twitter and be all fucking Twitter famous and Facebook famous. But yet right now, we have veterans right now in the inbox, almost 1,500 messages a day to the main page begging for fucking help because the government somewhere in their state failed them.
Or you had the fucking veterans that are going into the VAs and getting no help and then saying, fuck it, and killing themselves in the damn lobby or parking lot. I am so fucking glad you are fucking fired up about this because we've talked about this a lot. We are veterans, we need to understand that every time a fucking politician panders to the veteran for the veteran vote, it is a bullshit lie, and it has always been. It is funny how veterans are always important when we are awesome for political pawns, for the left and for the right. There is no difference when it comes to that. The case we've used several times is when you had the kneeling in football. What did people start saying? Oh, you're disrespecting soldiers. Yeah, you won't fucking volunteer to help soldiers or donate or any of that other shit. You only care that somebody's kneeling at a fucking flag. That's disrespectful. Yet your country is, that the VA can't get their shit together. And, so much so, the whole military can't get their shit together. But, hey, it's all cool, though. Somebody's not kneeling at a flag. Let us be pissed off. Or the left, they just, the government's going to use money from the DOD funds to create a wall. Well, what about the soldiers and the soldiers' housing? That could go to that. Bitch, you did not care before that you found out that there was money going to something you didn't want to go to, but now you care that money's not going to soldiers or PTSD, people suffering from PTSD or TBIs or people who are fucking on the ragged edge about to just lose it and end it. But now you care because someone was going to put money towards something that you didn't want, but now you care about soldiers and their families and housing and shit. It's bullshit on both sides. And you know what? It's not just a political thing. And it's something we need to and this is just I speak. This is Flash speaking.
Well, you are my PAO, so thank you. Go ahead, continue.
This is Flash speaking of this. We as the veteran community, regardless if you're a vet bro, regardless if you're just low key, regardless if you did 3 years or you did 35, we need to understand as a veteran community that the only people going to take care of us is us. The politicians will pander to us.
Right.
They will say things. And yes, I do believe there are a couple of representatives. Maybe there's a couple of congressmen that really have we need to maybe push more vets into Congress and stuff, and maybe more stuff will get done. And I do think there's a couple of people that are trying, but they're against the wave of fuckers that just don't give a shit. But we need to understand that we're the only ones who are going to take care of ourselves. We need to understand that groups like the VFW, American Legion, are essential for us to keep our people alive, because without the American Legion, VFW, and other groups just like them, vet-oriented groups that are lobbying Congress and banging on doors, that we're going to lose even more people to suicide and fucking, overdoing pills or whatever, or dangerous behavior, because they have no one to turn to. We have to do it ourselves. I implore every veteran and every family member, join an organization, help out, find a veteran that needs help and try to help, because guess what? Our politicians do not care. And it makes me sad to say that. It almost actually brings a tear to my eye to say that our politicians don't care, and our president loves using us as props and saying, "Oh, our great military, awesome military." But then when it comes to put rubber to road, somehow he fucking loses everything, and it doesn't matter. We're only good when it comes to being a political prop, and that's it.
Right.
The public only cares about us when it's the choice is military people or something I don't like. Oh, but we need to do this for our military. We need to do housing and this, that, and the other. I mean, shit.
It was only because nobody wanted to get right.
Even our ODOD is not taking care of us.
Dude, think about what had happened when they finally got fucking highlighted. Wow, this is a tragic issue. We really need to make sure they wear pinks and greens. What the hell are you talking about? You just now. That's why, don't get me wrong. There are some things that get vetted through the Facebook page on U.S. Army WTF Moments in the inbox and stuff like that can be construed as whining but there is some genuine shit That gets filtered out and that gets vetted. So there's a ton of crap that goes through. But of the stuff that you do see, we scratch our head. I watched the frustration of the admins working in there. When I was adminning a lot on that thing, I looked at the Army different. My whole outlook on the Army was different because I could not believe our soldiers and their families were getting treated the way they were. Now, granted, you have some self-righteous motherfuckers that want to come on there and try to be like glory hounds or spotlight rangers and shit like that, not counting PAOs, but I'm just saying, individuals that want to be like, oh, well, I want to be the mother hen for this individual and this person's missing and all that. So you need to share what I shared on my page, and then they say, well, what about the family? Oh, no, no, if you are not the family member, we are not going to share your sob story or GoFundMe account for whatever. That's it. That GoFundMe, people think that we're just a bunch of fucking E4s just hanging around a Facebook group just talking shit. We're not. We got issues just like you do. We got issues and family members just like you do. We have issues that have to deal with command climates, sexual assault, equal opportunity, same-sex marriage, transgender issues, shit that our government, that our elected officials want to talk shit about and throw it down our fucking face. It's worse than R. Kelly pin on you. Sorry, I had to break up the fucking tension here.
You know what's funny, though, is I remember when I was in the military, active duty and everything, and as public affairs, I remember having a meeting with like a bunch of our people in our division, and we're trying to track down who the admins were for U.S. Army WTF moments that might have been on Fort Hood. I remember because then I messaged my contact and was like, hey, do you have any, I don't care, but do you have it on Fort Hood? Just like we have to find these people and stop them. But then, yes, there are plenty of posts of soldiers taking pictures of when soldiers mess up and stupid shit. I got you. But then there's lots of posts about suicide prevention, about helping people, about going and attending funerals of our fallen comrades, because no one else is going to be there, and we have to be there as a veteran community. It is bullshit the way we keep being treated. I'm not calling for a revolution or anything.
You're bringing fucking good awareness to this shit. We're not talking about taking up arms and shit. We're talking about fucking...
We need, as a veteran community, we need to do better and continue to set an example. Even if no one else is going to fucking follow us, we need to set the example, because the minute we don't, if we don't try to take care of our own with everything we got, somebody's going to say, well, if the vets aren't doing it, then why should we? No matter if they're fucking 100 yards behind us, they're still going to point and go, well, you didn't do it. You didn't help that person. Why didn't the vet organizations, lobby for this or that? Because, we can't say because we're tired. We can't do any of that shit, because if we do, it gives everyone the reason to not fuck around.
My fire is never going to end until my dying breath. My fire will not end.
That's the big reason why I joined WTF Nation Radio.
Right. Same thing.
It's a lot of, don't get me wrong, doing social media for WTF is a lot of fun. Being on the radio is a lot of fun. But I love the fact that we're out there pumping out military organizations, military affiliate organizations, veteran businesses, veteran people, and showcasing how fucking awesome we are and we can be. And how many fucking writers we have, journalists, people who run businesses, people who run management companies, and then we have our fucking senior leaders that are coming on the show to talk about their people. This is why WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments, which is the weirdest thing, because I never thought that 7 years ago that I would be saying this, or 4 years ago when my son was born and I was answering a question from U.S. Army WTF Moments about some shit going on in Fort Hood. I never thought that these two organizations, ours and our main page, would be so vital. But we have to continue to set an example. Yes, we're gonna fuck with people. You mess up, we're gonna call it out. That's what we do. But I didn't realize that we were going to be affecting so much. We do more than our government does when it comes to showcasing veterans and showcasing what we can do and taking care of ourselves. And I won't lie. I'm going to pat ourselves on the back. We're fucking awesome for doing that. And it's sad that we have to set the example. And it's not just that. There's a couple other veteran radio stations that I listen to that do a good job. Damn it, Bach and Doc are out there.
Yeah.
There's a couple other ones that are out there that I listen to that do an awesome job. And
Veterans Report too.
Yeah, and we're gonna get Veterans Report, and Warhorse for Veterans. Those guys do some awesome fucking work. But it just proves that we need to we have to take care of ourselves, because if we don't, the government's going to only use us for props, and that's what they've been doing, and that's not going to change because they have no reason for it to change.
We're going to take a break right quick, and when we get back, I'm not done yet. So we're going to take a quick break. I got to take a leak, got to go freaking refill my drinks, and then we'll be back. So
we're going to have some fun.
We're going to have some fun, so stay tuned. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna have that lady that likes to call up on the phone. You know, the one that dime people out. We're gonna have somebody call us up. We're gonna have a good time, but I'm not done yet at all. So stay tuned, and everyone get some shots. We'll be right back.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
Green Beret, 21 gun salute, don't wanna see the day. In the constant war zone, in the home of the brave, where they hate the police until they saving in a day. I got kids like you, a mortgage like you. So blue lives matter, and so does yours too. All this separation and divide, open your eyes. If you cut us all open, we the same inside. The only difference is I run to the gunfight. Your peace when it's chaos, when the people don't act right. But I'm under scrutiny for trying to protect me. You pull a pistol and I'm shooting for trying to contest me. I got a quick second to make a deadly decision. The media betrayed me like a kid for a living. Like I'm cold with no heart, a brain with no thoughts, a body with no feeling, a life with no cause.
Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see. And like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see. And like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. I'm damned if I do, and damned if I don't. It's like every single time I say what's on my mind, they go for my throat, they spew evil words. If you are absurd, always grinding, grinning, and killing my soul with these verbs. Hold me down, like I can't gasp for air. I'm closed inside of a box, like I'm inside Fort Knox. Every time that I'm there, I don't know why they think that I'm different from you. All that's true is I'm a like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see. And like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see. And like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see. And like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see. And like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human.
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
And we're back with a part 2 of the Monday edition, broadcasting live, of course, from the Functional Veteran Center of Excellence. So continue what we were saying before of what shit that got me riled the fuck up on Twitter. Let me go ahead and move on and frequency tuning in to the country of Pineland. For those of you all that don't know, Pineland is an area where all special operations soldiers are trained at, and they're trained to conduct unconventional warfare to overthrow an invading army and, of course, win the day for the inhabitants of said country of Pineland. Now, in this domain that there is, it's several tribes that are involved that are training in this. And several of these tribes that you know, of course, because we've had the guys from the Guardians of the Green Beret. We've had the Green Beret Foundation coming on and all that. And they've shot the shit with us, giving us a whole thing about Special Forces assessment and selection and all this other great stuff, and really wrapping up pretty good and uncovering stolen valor from the Guardians of the Green Beret. And then, of course, bringing to attention what the Green Beret Foundation was. So I would say real quick that this right here, I don't even know where to start this story and start this thread. So, live from Pineland, I have a buddy of mine. His name is Red, and he's going to give us a synopsis. We're not going to name the individual until I pick it up, and then we're going to go ahead and let this individual be unknown until towards the end, because I'm pretty sure Red is just chomping at the bit to tell us what's up. What's going on, brother?
How are you, sir? Thanks for the opportunity to speak about this interesting experience, to say the least.
Well, so first off, real quick, tell us about yourself, and tell us how long you are in no shit. Tell us your military background.
Yeah. So I was got in 2006. Prior to that, I was in college during 9/11, and that kind of inspired me to join up. So got my commission and was in the Field Artillery in the 101st. Did one of General Petraeus's 15-month tours in Iraq in Tikrit. Spent a lot of really fun times there, hanging out with the infantry, being a fister. When I finished that tour, I was up for captain, and I kind of had to realize either stay in the Field Artillery, get out, or go into SF. My dad was in 18 Delta, and I liked growing up in that community. I liked being around those guys. So I tried my hand, went to selection, passed selection, and got put into 7th Special Forces Group on a Special Forces dive team around 2010, 2011. Got out in 2018. Before I got out, I was in Special Forces Command as the assistant G3 to operations. So I worked on the CENTCOM desk, wrote some orders for some things that are currently going on right now in perpetuity.
Yep.
And also worked in the Southcom desk and did a couple of those things too. So I'm aware of kind of the operational side and also very much so the admin side of special operations. And as you mentioned, kind of what everything goes on in Pineland. I got a lot of fingers in a lot of those pies. And
right. So you honestly say that you're still plugged into that world a little bit, how me and you discussed before.
Very much so. Yeah. I mean, some of the guys in Guardians of the Green Beret, we don't know each other personally, but there's some Facebook groups we kind of dabble in together. And I am very aware of those individuals, and they do some amazing work.
Right. We've had that, and you can. I mean, not to do a plug for us, but you can download one of their podcasts that we had them come on before. Great group of guys. Now, so in working what you've been working with, so you're kind of familiar with what's going on in First SFC. You're familiar with what's going on in USASOC. You kind of have the feel of SWCDom. You know what that world is like. Everybody knows that when you go to SWCD, that's the house that nobody wants to go to, and you want to stay on a team. But sometimes some of that outstanding knowledge needs to get passed on to future candidates.
Yes, sir.
And they send you there. So nestled deep in Fort Bragg, of course, that whole special operations community, of course, is there, and of course we were out and about in Pineland together. We discussed things like that. There's a story that hit my radar, and this story to me at first was kind of like there's no fucking way until I was provided information inside and out of what this event was. So can you go ahead and start with what is it? What happened?
Oh man, where do I start?
Well, you try to keep, like I say, we want to keep the individual out right now. The name.
Yeah. So I'll keep it as truncated as possible.
No way, dude. You got like 45 minutes to blab, man.
Oh, cool.
We got plenty of time.
Yeah, this ain't like a radio station that we always have. Radio stations like to have like 10 or 15 minutes. No. 10, 15 minutes is nothing. So we're come on, dude. We set the standard, man. Come on.
Well, redacting names until you mention them is perfectly fine with me. Okay. So I was I was a member of a group that was looking into certain veterans on Twitter that were making pretty spurious claims. And this one that I was looking at, who is not this individual, but another one by the name of Doc PDJ, claimed she was a trans individual who wasn't, had 2 Bronze Stars with Valor, 2 Purple Hearts, worked with SEALs, and was a corpsman. And I, living where I did at the time, was actually able to find out based on a picture of her house where she lived. And so this uncovering of this individual basically led down the road to an argument with, we'll just call him Mr. X for the moment. So Mr. X and I had it out because we were being accused of being politically biased and looking specifically at people who were trans or what have you, which is not the case because we've been uncovering a lot of MAGA accounts, one which we just found that was defrauding people for $14,000.
Right. Go ahead.
Nonetheless,
yeah. So stay on that one. Yeah, because I want to hit that too, because that came to my attention as well. So go ahead. Continue.
So nonetheless, when I was arguing with this person, a lot of glaring information came out when we archived their Twitter, and at first it was very low level. It was some minor claims where like he could have gotten these things, he may not have gotten these things, whatever. So if I'm lining down the claims, purely talking about the claims, like this individual claimed he had an ARCOM with a V, but didn't have any combat awards, so no CAB or no CIB, which is curious because the only way you're getting an ARCOM with a V is you're getting shot at, right?
Indirect fire or direct fire.
Indeed, and then also claiming that he'd been deployed with USASOC via USACAPOC, but his Freedom of Information Act DD-214 came in, and it only had a single deployment, and it was while he was an 88 Mike. So his claim that he deployed with them and had this combat patch was completely unfounded.
So now, real quick, there was a period of time where USASOC at one time did have USACAPOC underneath its command.
That is 110% correct. So and CA still falls under USACAPOC, but when you are deploying with USASOC, so let me put this out first. USASOC is not a deployable command.
Correct.
USASOC doesn't just up and deploy. So you're supporting a special mission unit. You're supporting a SF unit that is under direct orders of USASOC. You're either just supporting Ranger Regiment or 160th. So the fact that somebody would just say, I got a USASOC combat patch with no other further supporting information is extremely questionable to me.
Now, mind you, going back onto your position of working at 1st SFC at the G33 Ops, you would know this. Go on.
Yes. Yeah. So on top of that, claiming that you got a USASOC combat patch and then attributing your Valorous award to it is equally as questionable, because one thing USASOC and active duty SF units do is if you earn an award, you're in that whole award, right? So there are guys that get silver stars in SF units frequently, right? It's not like SF is going to be like, oh, we got you this sweet silver star, but no CIB. Like, you're getting the whole gamut of that stuff. And if you're a augmentee, like if you're a CA guy on an SF unit and you get anything with a V, you're getting taken care of. But the fact that this guy doesn't have any combat awards and he's claiming a V raises a lot of questions, right? He also claimed that he got kicked out for Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And it gets even more heartbreaking, salacious, awful, specifically because he was claiming that the person he got kicked out over was a soldier, right?
Okay. Now
he claimed he deployed with. Sorry,
okay. Now, here is where my rage really, because I mean, Red, you know the deal, man. We were WTF Nation. We don't do that stolen valor stuff. We don't, us. We just go out there and we shoot the shit. We make fun of, throw post memes and shit like that. We rarely ever do a call out ever. I mean, this is like the second time I think since I've been working at the station for almost 3 fucking years, that we've like really got down to a situation like this where we're not claiming, but we're outing somebody. So I just want you to know this is not typical for us.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity then.
Yeah. So the thing is, what got me mad is we are not, because I've already seen some of the likes and dislikes and all the frowny faces from our conversations on the Twitter sphere. And I'm thinking, first off, before you start throwing homophobic, racial stuff at WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments, we have had and have the gamut of all of those genders, types, preferences, and species working for us or have worked for us.
That's one of the things that we kind of hold dear, that we let everyone get a voice, because that's what WTF Nation Radio is.
Right. So it's not. So I want to preface that before we continue because I really hate it when people are like, you guys just a bunch of fucking cowboys just running around doing this. But I'm like, no, we've got people of color. We have somebody who is the same sex. We've had same sex relationship. We've had individuals that talked about transgender stuff. We've had people. So it's like we've run the gamut. So anybody coming on here thinking that Red is bashing that community, we would not have allowed him to come on, because we know that he's not. And that's why I want to preface what we're about ready to say right now.
Well, I appreciate it. Because, and on top of that, I mean, sorry, I run a bunch of threads basically saying that on Twitter as well, because it happens so often. I have to reiterate the fact that I really don't care about people's politics. Like, I'm about as moderate as it gets. Right. But the minute you start, faking the funk, it's kind of when people are coming for your scalp, so to speak.
Right. Well, I mean, and it's not really coming for your. And I mean, think about it. And we have. Because I know everyone's like, we're holding a fucking cliffhanger right now before we go further. But we have had, like, for instance, right now, we have had individuals that think that when you say, or like you just, I don't know if you heard me earlier on a fucking rant going off on our elected officials. We're tired of being props. We're tired of being that someone who says they've not done this. I can ask you a couple questions, and already in our world, in the Pineland world, we can figure out he served with this guy, he was with this guy, he was in this town, he was with this, he was involved in this engagement, and he did this, and he did, you know what I mean? The world is so small enough. Now, when you say you got something, well, you just go up to USASOC News and see straight up, okay, that guy got the word for this, and this. Like you said, you get taken care of. It's not an attack. We're not besmirching someone's character when you say, hey, where'd you get that? I don't remember you getting that. Are you sure you got that? I mean, that's when we start pulling on that thread of that sweater. That is right there. And guys who have, and I'm gonna tell you what, I'm releasing a little bit of my identity. You know, every time I broadcast a little bit. The guy who got killed was 210. I was in 210 in Iraq during the invasion. So when I hear about shit like this, I get the ass.
Oh yeah,
because now you're talking about a fallen brother. So I'm gonna go ahead and say, go ahead. What did he say about this soldier, or why he got kicked out about Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and this individual? What happened to this individual?
So he basically said he was kicked out for Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and was the lover of a soldier who he deployed with in Iraq during his time as an 88 Mike. Right. So he's basically claiming that he had a relationship with a soldier while he's deployed. No big deal, except for the fact that this soldier was married at the time.
Not same sex.
Yes.
He was married to a woman.
Or yeah, sorry. I thought you were talking about this individual and the soldier. Yes, the soldier that passed was married to a woman and had a little daughter.
Right.
And there's a lot of conflicting information that this soldier, while he was on leave, where he may have passed, and the unit he was in, basically disproves this guy's claim that he was kicked out for this reason and that he was a lover of the soldier. Oh, by the way, a member of my team had the opportunity to interact with this widow and spoke to her. And the widow, obviously being extremely upset and frustrated that her husband was being dragged through the mud at the, at the prompting of this individual, asked him, DM'd him on Twitter and said, hey, I can't believe you're doing this. Why would you do this? And I need you to explain this to me. And, I think we all make mistakes in our life, and we own up to them if we have any honor whatsoever. So like any honorable guy, this individual blocked that Gold Star spouse and then called her a homophobe on Twitter. So it's not very telling when somebody basically gets asked a question as pointed as that and then just decides to go off on somebody, especially a Gold Star spouse.
Now,
I can feel the rage.
Yeah, dude.
and this is not the first time that this person has, which, and just to clarify for the audience that isn't on Twitter, because we now there's quite an audience that's kind of forming on our Periscope. For those that do not know, we've actually given the person that we're talking about the opportunity to come on the show right now and to dispute these claims live on air and to clear the air. We've put out our call-in number. We're waiting for any kind of response, because if there was ever a time that you were going to dispute claims against you like this, that are this, and we were only, and Red's only kind of scratched the surface of what these threads and stuff on social media have turned into, which it was funny because we stumbled in this by me accidentally liking something and then / getting called out for it. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, it was like Pandora's box. Like, this is what you stumbled upon.
So real quick on that, I've been saving this moment, and I'm doing this on air. Flash, I apologize for going off on you about that.
Oh, I love you too.
Oh, shit.
Shut up. doesn't mean we're taking showers together, man.
The opportunity to come on, and the line is open. The call-in number is on the bottom of your screen, on the bottom scroller. 415-889-8367. We would love for you to actually dispute these live instead of just blocking people like you have. And this is the time to put up.
Absolutely.
So here's the thing. It's that I and here's where my rage, like you were talking about, Red. My whole thing is this: is that how? Okay, look, you kind of, you're going off, and now that seems to be a wave of two-sided events. Like, for instance, you have the You have the side of talking about PTSD and talking about a traumatic brain injury.
Yep.
And then you have legitimate issues of individuals who go out and seek, glory that they didn't attain. And then you got the side of you're bashing on someone who is of who's homosexual or believes in same sex, whatever preferences, whatever you want to call it today, because I don't even know what I've not kept up on the curriculum of what to call anybody nowadays. I just say same sex now or whatever, because it's gonna piss somebody off whether I'm right or not. The PTSD and TBI got thrown in when? Excuse.
Oh man, that's all recent, right? So this individual, it seemed fairly innocuous at first. Like you can almost, I don't want to say you can almost date it to a specific day, but it was roughly maybe 2 months out before we had a conversation. Don't quote me on that, but it wasn't any time. There's not a history to it. Like if you look at the tweets, you're like, oh, you can definitely see a trend start to move into when it transitioned from I'm just a dude who did a thing in the military to I'm making all these spurious claims that can't be backed up. And, I went to the Q course and washed out from injuries, and I went to Ranger school and did all these things. And, oh, by the way, I'm a reservist, right? So it just snowballed, and it got ugly quick.
Tell me about it. Holy shit. It did not get ugly. I was like, why are you bigging on him? Or maybe you should do this. And I was stumbling upon going, what the hell is what's going on? So,
the funny thing is, the first conversation I had with this individual, I was actually, believe it or not, I was trying to be as cordial as I could because I had no idea who this guy was. And then when I got accused of these things, it was like, okay, let me check this guy out. And, it went off from there. And everybody that I've ran a thread on my Twitter feed has had an opportunity to defend themselves. Like I usually don't block people because I'd like to drag some of these people out into the sunlight and have them explain themselves. And they either block me and then they block my followers or people that ask questions. And the funny part is it's people from both sides now. It's not just the vet bros. There's a lot of individuals who are extremely left leaning that feel like this was the last straw, and it was it's obviously unacceptable to say the least.
It also brought the debate of how harmless or it's a victimless crime, and that's when I really started jumping in. I put both my fucking feet. That's like doing a proper exit out of an aircraft. Make sure you do your 6 silent count when you're jumping in the MC6. Yeah, screw that, dude. I jumped in there and said I could not believe that everyone's taking up the side about saying that stolen valor is victimless.
I think it's because a lot of people go to it's Applebee's, right? Like what we think is stolen valor is the kid with the Vietnam SEAL hat in Applebee's. And I had a really good friend explain this to me, and I saw eye to eye with him. Like I don't really care about that. Like I don't care about the little like obvious false BS. But
I've seen like little I've seen some of the little ROTC kids that want to be soldiers, and they wear little SF pins or
Ranger Challenge
tabs. Yeah, exactly. And you obviously they're not in the military being stolen valor. They just admire the community. I got it.
Guilty as charged. By the way, I did Ranger Challenge. Thank you very much.
Nerd. Anyways.
And so, but what you have now, especially on social media, is you have people that see see how veterans are put on a pedestal in a lot of senses, which may not necessarily be a good thing, but that's another conversation down the road that all of us have to figure out. And they're able to leverage that because of all this inundation with information and social media, and you see actual veterans, you see Dan Crenshaw, you see Marcus Luttrell, you see all these guys, and you're like, all I have to do is cut and paste, add a little bit of my own flavor, and I can basically take money out of people's pockets, or hijack political conversation, or write for a periodical and make some money off of it because I was sexually assaulted. So it's very strong identity politics, and it's extremely effective in today's political environment because everybody's so polarized, right? And so now I can be a MAGA right-wing vet and basically run a GoFundMe account to help out homeless vets because it's such a kind thing to do,
it's
right?
The right thing to do. It's for the vets.
Yeah, exactly. Or I'm a veteran that experienced a traumatic event, and I can explain this traumatic event in graphic detail but it didn't happen, but I can still do it because I've seen other veterans do it, and then I can leverage that information and kind of insulate myself with another group of, of these same veterans. And it happens. I mean, and it's not just a one or two person that's doing it. I mean, it's almost an epidemic right now. You don't see it unless you kind of expose yourself to it, like a lot of people that I kind of quote unquote work with do. But it's there, and it's a big problem. And I think it's ruining a lot of the discourse that a lot of really good veterans are having right now in the political realm and in the realm of, what we need to do for the VA.
Right. I mean, we should be unified in this shit. Not going to. I'm not saying now. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that what you did or did not do as a reservist active duty that was not. I wouldn't say what we considered if you joined the military and you served you served in some capacity. Good on you. Good on you. You served. That's the way I see it. You don't have to add to just because you were around with or look like or want to be like. Because there's a lot of people that have blood, sweat, and tears in all of those accomplishments. As you said specifically that, of course, that if you get a combat award, you're going to get a cab. If you're support, you're going to get a CIB if you're SF or infantry supporting SF or whatever. You're going, like you said, you're going to get the gamut of.
Oh yeah.
So my biggest thing is that it was all going about back and forth and all this stuff until I got a message from somebody on our staff and said he was on our show. I'm like, what? Which one? Which show?
I think that was the biggest thing when this started. When this came down, and like we started actually figuring out what was going on. And I was reading some of the threads, and I actually started screenshotting because when it came down. I thought I had like stirred the hornet's nest, which I do sometimes.
You did it again, Flash. Come on.
I thought I stirred the hornet's nest, which it happens from time to time.
Well, yeah, because we have a no attacking individual specifically. We only go after organizations as the station, so that's why I was apologizing to ICE.
So sometimes I get caught up in that, and that's understandable. And I'm like, no, I like the wrong thing and this, but look at this. And I screenshot all the information, and on Twitter, you laid out pretty well everything was going on, so much so that I the whole time I'm like, while me and you were messaging, I'm ready to go, oh my God, what the hell did, and I'm like, what the hell did I stumble upon? Like, I'm really
not only that, but once I got all that and I was like literally watching all the flying inside our office, I'm like, what show? I was like, what?
And then to know that this person was on our show.
He was on our show. He was on the Monday edition talking to me and Flash about TBI, talking about hidden wounds, talking about the organization that he was repping for. He was talking about how, he even invited us to an event. He invited us to an event what was called a flotilla concert or something like that. And we were planning on talking about, hey, it's this spring. Well, last year when the show came out, it was, hey, is it next fall, next spring? We're talking about, oh, yeah, I guess come out. You guys hit me up and we'll go hang out. I'm thinking, holy shit, this fucking is. Because this year I'm planning on cashing in all the, like you said yourself, Red, if I'm ever in your area in Pineland, I'm swing by and get some drinks. You're damn right. Damn right.
Absolutely.
So my biggest thing is that he came on, and I'm getting fucking heated again. He came on the Monday edition, and because I also we also manage servers, we also manage this. I looked everything on there and wiped this individual off of everything that is WTF Nation Radio, U.S. Army WTF Moments, and our servers. You won't be able to download that edition of the Monday edition at all with that individual's name known as J.R. Moock.
Oof.
Because when you come on WTF Nation Radio and you come on under the false pretenses of who you say you are, and then to me, I don't give a fuck about the Stolen Valor shit. What I do care about is you coming on WTF Nation Radio and me finding out that you've been fucking with a Gold Star spouse. That you've been spreading fucking lies about this shit. When we have given you opportunities to come on.
Several. We've reached out a couple of times, and it wasn't until today when I tweeted that, hey, we have Rev coming on. We're going to talk about this. That he's like, why didn't you come to me first? And you specifically, I know, have said, several times. And then we're like, look, we're not going to, Red, you laid this stuff pretty well. You had all the documentation. We didn't have to sick our guy on this whole situation. That's how thorough this was. It was pretty cut and dry, and it I won't lie, it hurt because when we were starting our how we were trying to get different people on, I reached out to this individual like, you should come on the show and talk about this. And it's just like, man, this is just one of those things that really irks you, is that when, we try our damnedest to get every voice we can. We've had, vets for gun control, and then the opposite side. We've had big businesses, small businesses. We've had vet organizations that, from the American Legion down to the small ones, and the folks that are just like getting Christmas trees to soldiers. We try to do our best to, from gender and race, we cover it all, because it's the veterans' voice that we're trying to get out, not just our sexy crooning voices like mine.
Bro,
to have this,
and you block Mom. How the fuck are you gonna block Mom? You blocked her. You blocked a member of my staff. That's what pissed me off. It's like we're not trying to. My biggest thing is that, come on the fucking show. Now he comes up on the net, like right now, literally is fucking coming on the net, and now it's like, this isn't harassment. This is now me apologizing to the audience of 1.2 million followers of the WTF Nation, where now everyone's memes are going to block out the sun on us because I look like an ass having somebody come on our show and rep an organ. I feel so, hiddenwounds.org. I'm sorry you had to work with that. That is not. Don't let that individual be the representation of that organization. We still love you. We still do. We know what you're trying to do.
I mean, look like. I'd love to have him come on. I mean, like he wanted to be on initially before me. I have no issue with that, and he didn't want to come on because of whatever half truths he felt like I was spinning. But the fact of the matter is, like, I've had situations where I've called guys out and we've had conversations and I've had to eat crow and I've put it out there. Like, there's nothing stopping this individual from coming and explaining himself thoroughly. I have no issue taking anything down that he can verify. And I mean, Bronze Star v citations, I mean, I have all my citations. I've been out for at least 2 years. Like, it's not hard to get that stuff. Not only that, but like, I mean, this guy's pulling VA disability. Like, he's got to have some sort of proof. Otherwise, it's not.
God, is he really?
And we've given out. He has our Skype and he has our phone number. There's nothing stopping him from calling right now. And I actually, to make me feel, I'd appreciate it if he came up and sacked up, because
bro, what are you talking about? I had my finger on the fucking hover button to call him right now, and I just haven't. I've just
there's been so much going on in Twitter as we've been talking, and people have been trying to kind of calling him out, and then one of the things that one of our Twitter folks has tweeted out was a full apology for the Gold Star spouse, and
that's all I care about. And to us,
I won't say her name. They did tag her, and I won't say that either. But if these accusations are true, you either need to come up and confess, apologize, or dispute them. Either which way, you can't just block everyone forever, because your window is going to get your circle is going to get super small super quick, because you went on the wrong station to come around and do this shit.
Well, and I get the whole troll thing, right? Okay, so you block out trolls. I get it. Like, you can ignore me, you can ignore the trolls or whatever, but I hate to say it, but it's not really the habits of an innocent person who just continues to block people that are asking probably genuine questions regarding their service and their actions, right? And I mean, it gets old. I get it. But at the same time, like, there's a lot of information he's got to own up to. And it's not like I get the fact that social media sometimes isn't real life. But if you're pulling VA benefits and there's a family out there hurting, there's genuine legal ramifications to stuff like that. And it's not a joke, right? Like, as messed up as all of these shitty claims are, and as terrible as it is to drag this Gold Star spouse, like, it just doesn't end at Twitter. Like, there are people in the legal realm that are showing a genuine interest in this, and like, karma really sucks when you do that to Gold Star spouses.
It almost makes it feel like you now, because with all the outrage flipping out, you as a veteran will probably have to carry your DD-214 or a PDF file on your phone or something like that. Say, look, asshole.
I mean, I do. I keep my redacted one in my iPhone.
Yeah. For shit like this, I would too. You know what I'm saying? Because someone's gonna be like, "You weren't fucking SF. Shut up." And then you're like, "Yeah, right. You weren't even an officer. You were probably you work at First SF. You weren't, dude. You were a staff leading. You know what I mean? Because you never know." Meanwhile, you have somebody who's throwing some stuff out there. Now, is it confirmed that this individual is collecting? But yes, he is. I just got another question. Is he for real removed? Yes, I can speak for WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments that he is completely wiped off the map of from orbit, as you would say, Red.
Oh yeah.
From all of our servers. If you guys catch it, then please let us know. Is it known? This individual is collecting benefits from the VA?
I mean, he's tweeted plenty of times that he was, and he's shown pictures of him in the VA office. He's also claiming PTSD, obviously from this engagement with in his time as an 88 Mike. So, I mean, it's his claims on Twitter. Again, this guy isn't particularly truthful, so he may be saying that he is a disabled veteran and really isn't pulling claims from the VA. But I would argue that it's probably worth an email to a South Carolina Attorney General to have that conversation with the VA down there. But that's just me.
Well, to hand you another nugget, we have a VA representative on retainer at WTF Nation Radio at WTF Moments. More to follow.
So before I go any further, though, the whole reason why I would probably want to use that person is probably help out this Gold Star widow. Because I think there is the forever VA benefit that she might be trying to get some information out. So in any case, if you can put them in touch with me, I care about making sure Moock gets held accountable. But quite honestly, the person I want to make sure is getting watched out for too is this widow.
Of course. Well, I'll tell you what. If you hang on for a second, let me go ahead and go, because we have on our contact us, we have a VA rep on our link on our page. So if you go to WTFradio.com, and you hit up contact us, and it says contact our VA rep, just go ahead and hit it. I do comms check with that. As a matter of fact, I'm a DM you right now on that one.
I was going to
send
him the link.
Oh, go ahead. Go for it then. Sorry.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So that would be right there, and we'll the WTF Nation will handle the rest. Because that right there, you don't come on to the Monday edition and talk to me in Flash and embarrass me. I don't like to be embarrassed. Most sergeant majors don't. And if I'm literally, dude, I'm fucking just livid. You get that face flush anger and shit like that. So, stand by.
It's that Yarborough rage.
Yeah. Somebody's calling in, so we don't know who it is. Stand by. WTF Nation Radio, you're on the air.
Hi, how's it going? I am calling about Doug Cashman.
Yeah, we're kind of like, we wanted to keep the name a little quiet, dude. We wanted to keep the name quiet about who the individual was.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah,
yep.
No worries, man. So we thought you were Moock.
Nope, not Moock.
All right, man. Hey, thanks, man. We wanted to keep the name out the loop, so we appreciate it.
All
right, thanks, man.
Yep.
You just wanted to talk about this individual like in a no-name thing, or you just want to the guy?
Yeah. He was in my first duty station, so I helped him in process.
Tell us about the kid, man. Because that's what we're talking. Like Red just said, we're talking about the family, we're talking about the widow, and we're talking about the daughter. So let's talk about the dad. Talk about the guy. What's up?
All right. Well, he was when he was an older private when he got there, and he kind of showed guys like me who had never really lived outside of the house how to be adults. And man, he was a good dude, and he didn't cheat on his wife. He loved her, and he's a great father. So, and it's awful that somebody decided to use his name for some just garbage.
No, I hear you, man. Oh, trust me. We appreciate you calling up, man.
Yep.
All right, brother. Have a good.
Is that Red Shoe?
Yes.
Oh.
Hey man, what's up? Glad to see you called in, brother. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
I'm about to
Appreciate the
say-
backup.
Totally, man. So tell us about yourself, Red Shoe. I'm about to say we got two Reds on here. I'm about to say Red Shoe.
Oh.
So tell us about yourself, Red Shoe.
Well, I am a diesel mechanic, and I was in the Army for about 9.5 years. And, I broke most of the bones in my right foot, and they showed me the door. So, but the run at your own pace and distance profile isn't conducive to killing bones.
No, about to say no, it's not. But all right, man. Well, hey, thanks for giving us a buzz, man. We totally appreciate you hitting us up.
Oh yeah, definitely, not a problem.
All right, man. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
No problem, Lee. Oh, yeah. Dude, I've been mentored by Habu. What are you talking about? I got the Habu rage. if you ever played in Pineland, you know who Habu is.
Oh yeah.
So my biggest thing is that I don't. Aside from this, all we could do is support the widow and support the. Now the daughter is when this KIA was killed. How old was this little girl?
I don't know an exact age, but for reference, she just went to her prom in high school, maybe 2 or 3 days ago. So she was young.
And his. Okay, so I see. So yeah, wow.
And this soldier passed in 2005, right? So we're talking 13 years. So
Right.
Close to. I mean, it's close, right?
So now the circumstances. I know we don't want to talk about, but the circumstances of what was fishy about the KIA and the claim.
Okay, so there's so the first thing is Mr. Moock claimed that he was he was in a reserve. So he was in a reserve unit as an 88 Mike, and the departed was in an active duty Army unit, and was in a completely different fob than where Mr. Moock would be. So never mind the fact that. Right, like let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, okay, so they're in a completely different fob. He also came back from leave, or prior to him passing, he had just come back from leave. So the space between his time on leave and him passing was fairly short. And to add, Moock continues to use the wrong location of where he actually died. Right, so I'm holding the actual location pretty close hold because that's something that I would hope Moock would know, which he still doesn't. So Nippur is basically just a hole in the ground. It's a dig site in Iraq, right? And it's an area that wasn't on this individual's actual death certificate, and isn't really his place of death. So Moock took a picture of this guy's bracelet, right, with the place of death. Because that's where it's reported in thefallen.com or whatever, but in reality, that's not where it was. So this guy is walking around with this memorial bracelet, flipping people off, asking him questions, and it's not even an accurate depiction of where this soldier passed.
What was the comment that he said flipping people off? He said he just flipped off a priest or something like that.
Oh, I don't remember that. The one that I usually recall is here's my redacted DD-214, and it's a picture of him flipping people off. And then the next comment was you're not going to see my DD-214. Ironically enough, a couple months later, I saw his DD-214.
Yeah. Now you were able to pull his DD-214, and it's like a 3-liner.
Yeah.
I mean, a DD-214 and his 2-alpha 2-1 file, which I didn't even know they still had records of that still.
Mm-hmm.
So it was not even a 1-liner. What were the awards that were on the DD-214? National
Defense Service Medal, Army Service Ribbon, Armed Forces Reserve Medal, GWAT Medal, and GWAT with Terrorism Medal too. So no airborne school, no Q course, no selection, no Ranger school. Yeah. No Archon with a V, no CIB, no cap.
So he didn't realize that of the five finger death punch of networking that you have, from SWIC, USASOC, First SFC, and related CA commands, and USACAPOC now is uttering complete and utter bullshit to what you're saying. He's saying it's complete bullshit, what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, aside from that, he's a CA guy, and his ARCOM was from a transport battalion. But I mean, like, aside from him being a 38B, which is a CA specialist, there's nothing that says he deployed as a CA guy, right? And he would have it on this DD-214. So, and here's an interesting thing about the reserves, right? The only time you're going to get a DD-214 is when you go into active service and when you come back. And so it's very different from what active guys see and what reserve and National Guard guys see. I happen to know these well enough because I've seen enough of them to know that if he deployed anywhere, especially in support of USASOC, it would be on this DD-214.
Correct.
I mean,
and
this
it's annotated on an ENGB.
As a reservist, I want to point out he's 100% correct.
Right.
Yeah.
I was about to say, yeah, go ahead.
And not only
100%.
that, but if you're going to the Q course, so let's talk the nuances of special operations.
Yes.
Unless you're active duty, the only special forces unit you can go to that's not active duty is the National Guard. In order to go to a National Guard unit, you have to get a by name request to go to that unit if you aren't already there for some other reason or don't already have a tab. You have to get a by name request, and then you have to go through their selection. So specifically 19th or 20th group have their own internal selection. You have to pass that. You have to then go through selection. If you pass selection, you get active duty orders that day to go to airborne school and then the Q course. So even if this Yahoo failed the Q course, he would have a DD-214 stating where he went and whether he was a pass or fail. Because I've seen plenty of guys in the National Guard's D-214s that look exactly like that. The ironic part is it applies even in a more broader depth to the reserves because there's still a federal entity, right? So the National Guard gets really wonky because it's states, but it's real easy to find information for the reserves because you still have to get activated, you're still on federal money, and then you go to the Q course under the auspices of active duty.
And they're
if you fail
also,
a pass,
I was about to say, and not to mention the fact there's also SOPSI there. They still have SOPSI there, right?
They do. And it's not the smoke fest it used to be. It's actually smart training now, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, so SOPSI is more of a thing, hey, this is what's going to get you through the portion that you need to get through and succeed. So from there, I would actually add a couple more weeks to his train up, right?
Oh yeah, I mean he'd have to go through. So first of all, he'd have to have a conversation with group. Group would then put him through selection, and then SOPSI, depending on the contract or whatever, because he's got to transfer from IRR or from the reserves to the National Guard, and that may involve some sort of contract work in terms of like enlisting. So you may have to actually enlist in that state depending on what your MOS is. Like there's a bunch of different things you have to do because if you're a CA guy and there's no CA units, the next question is what happens if this guy fails out of the Q course? What is his next MOS going to be? So
right, because because all three tribes there, PSYOP, CA, and SF, are not fucking walking the parks.
No, nope. And so it's and so the ironic part is you can't go back. So if you failed out of the Q course as a CA guy, you can't go back to the group as a CA guy. You'll go back in the reserves, but you can't go back in the reserves because you're already on a National Guard by name request, right? So it's extremely convoluted. It's a bag of cats,
right?
And his DD-214 would appear to be that way, but it's not. And it shows that he hasn't so much as dipped a toe in airborne school, unless he's got some sort of random airborne school, reserve slot that I'm sure it happens. Like let's say we give him the benefit out and he's got his airborne school thing. Cool, man. It still doesn't explain the Q course, and it still doesn't explain Ranger School.
Right. Where's your roster number, man? What was your roster number? What was your roster number? And you know, because everybody in that community, even in airborne school, has a roster number. I still my roster numbers. I still remember my dive team number. Well, I mean, anything that you've gone through, it's a significant emotional event when you go. I still remember my jump master roster number. I mean, it's instilled in your freaking head that you just know it. You just fucking know. And so right off the bat, I know if I asked you what your dive team number was, or your fucking roster number for airborne school, you'd be able to rattle them off, and it would be like not a big deal. I mean, I'm not saying that's because believe it or not, when you come out, you have a jump log that's got your roster number written on it to include the Fort Benning little thing. Thank you for going to jump school, airborne school, whatever. I'm just saying, because that's one of those comments. It's almost like you're supposed to be wearing your fucking boots when you put on a uniform, so it's like, why don't you have it?
Oh yeah. Well, and there's paperwork outside of a DD-214 you can prove to people. Ironically enough, I did that this weekend with somebody else that's been on your show, but that's a whole other story too.
Oh, so do tell.
So Adam Simon, he came and spoke. He was he wrote Man Down.
Yes.
So
he came out and shot the shit with us.
There was a strange shit slinging fest that occurred, and a friend of mine who's a ranger was talking to one of Adam's friends, and I made a boisterous statement saying that the difference between the actors on the A team and me was that I actually earned this fucking beret, and I sent them a picture of my green beret.
God, dude.
So I kind of
you got worse than PAO, man. Fucking just flat, just showboating.
I dropped a mic. Adam and I had some DMs, and we started slinging lead in the DMs, and he goes, "You know what? Just call me." So I call him, and we talked, and cooler heads prevailed, and we actually left on a really good note. Ended up apologizing to kind of everybody in the thread, and it was one of those positive moments that rarely happen on Twitter, where it was like, oh man, did we just become best friends? Like, we had a decent conversation about veterans issues and a bunch of other stuff, but it was just kind of interesting that I keep coming back to you guys for some strange reason.
And the reaction from the, okay, so we've talked and we're good now. It's the reaction for us like, oh look, you can have civil discourse.
You can have It's not a matter that we're gonna fucking hate somebody, but like I said, when Adam's come on before and we were shooting the shit for a while and having a blast.
Good dude.
So love Adam, and even stuff that we don't like perfectly see eye to eye on. He's a good person he's definitely one of the better people to have a conversation with, because he will have a conversation with. So I'm glad.
Oh yeah,
able to,
exactly. I'm cashing that favor.
Just call.
Adam said, "Hey man, if you're out and about, let me know, and we'll get some beer." So Adam, I'm holding it to it, bro. I'm holding that card. So I'm not gonna flash no berets or some shit like that, but you know what I'm
saying. I had to. I saw the A team. I'm a 7th grouper, and it just I didn't have an option.
Oh my god. You just fucking Legion motherfuckers. Now what? Now that we have let it all out, where do we go from here? So now we've given that information. We're going to give you some information to help out the family. The widow and the Gold Star daughter and the Gold Star mom. We're also gonna see about what's the status of this right here. I know there's some things we can and can't do on behalf of, because then there's some HIPAA legality shit and all this other stuff. But I will say that that Pineland is a small world, and Pineland also is adjacent to South Carolina. So I know that the world right now is I guess you could say they're watching closely on these events, because like I said, I'm apologizing on behalf of WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments that have had him come on the show, talk about what he talked about TBI and all sorts of shit, and really. Because like Flash was saying, we kind of open ourselves up to anybody and everybody that wants to come on that's a veteran, that wants to talk about veteran issues and all that. That's all of our intent.
And rightfully so. Rightfully so. I think you guys did a good thing doing that. And I think you guys, kind of got taken advantage of by somebody that you couldn't have vetted. I mean, that was a lot. It's a lot of work.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if anything else, it added to, I don't want to say it added to more stress, but it's now adding more to the front desk to do. So now it's like the first thing we look up is somebody wants to come on, let's look at their Twitter. Because
Twitter's a wonderfully dangerous area. That's why I hang around there.
Right. So, but anyways, hey Red, thanks for coming on, man. We totally appreciate you hanging out with us.
Anytime, brother. I'm at your disposal.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
And like I said, well, I'll hit you up some DMs later, and then we'll shoot the shit. All right, man.
Please do.
All right, man. We'll talk.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Y'all take it easy.
Yep. Well, we're gonna take a break right quick, and then we'll be right back. Shouts.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
looking up and fading out. Cirrus shapes I found blow me away. Van Allen right around, pushing through. Skin is brown. Nature has us trapped in fear, so I get lost in sound. I wonder if you'll ever know why I am the way I am. I've been thinking a lot about
Hey, Private Schmedlap, what do you think about this? You have to go to the White House to find out about that.
What is this Facebook Live? I've never heard of this shit.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
And we're back with the last part of the Monday edition. I had to run around the block right quick to get that energy out, man. Holy crap. It's God. Some woo. Just gotta get that anger out. We need to partake in some cannabinoid like stuff, maybe, to kind of alleviate. Not saying that, of course DD214 required. But anyways, thanks again for Red for coming on and hanging out with us, shooting the shit. And hey, again, got a lot of air we cleared out, I think. I don't think that there is no mistake. I don't know. What do you think, Flash? You think we could take? I mean, it seems like he's pretty trustworthy. Got all the information out to us. Hello, anybody around?
I am.
Okay. Well, I was just saying.
Sorry.
I was just saying, where's Flash? Well, Flash, what are you doing, dude?
Maybe he fell into the bottle.
I was about to say, dude. You said you're hanging out. What are you doing, Flash? Flash.
Maybe he's I don't know, doing homework or
I don't know, man.
Something.
What you doing, Flash?
On this.
You get Flash. Yeah, I thought I was like, I was hoping everything was fucking working right. I was about to say. Yeah, so you got blocked too. So I apologize to you. I was going off on a tirade on everybody. So I mean, sorry, just shit happens.
It's okay. Like when I was blocked, like what do I do?
Yeah, I was like, yeah. Oh man, I don't know what else to say. Don't know what else to say. We could say, we could whatever. And at this point, you don't we have opportunity to come on. I mean, it's not like we're not, Flash's mic is muted. That's why he's like talking. He's probably, you know what? He's probably like chomping at the bit, like talking about whatever and not realizing that his mic, I can see now because, the new Skype has been downloaded and now we're able to merge calls like with no problem. It's awesome. There's no issues anymore about.
For now.
Well, yeah, for now. I know Facebook's going through some freaking drama, but obviously if Flash is muting his mic, then I think the little guys, the little ones are probably bugging him or asking him for some love. But anyways, yeah. So welcome back. God, that wore me out. That was a freaking workout. Holy shit! Didn't realize that it was going to be such a heated event. It make you mad. It's kind of type shit that makes you want to go, damn.
Makes you want to go through Twitter and just smack someone.
Right, dude. Right. I just want to go through and just start going. Like I said, you guys want to go to that dumpster fire known as Twitter, man. Woo! Be careful. Holy crap! It is not for the faint of heart. It is not for the weak. Yeah, I mean, getting on there and then seeing everybody get upset about something like that. I'm just curious to see how this podcast is going to go up. How everyone's going to go, hey, shit. I can't believe you dug it. Yeah, well, opportunities come on. Opportunity to come on is, right there. 415-889-8367. I'm just saying. In the WTF Nation Radio Functional Veteran Center of Excellence. What is up with Flash, dude? Flash.
I don't know. I mean,
Did you fall off? I'm watching the shit. Can you see his little dealio there? It's like it still has a little mute thing off. Too bad. I wish you could unmute his shit. Like you can unmute from somebody from the command center.
That would be funny,
That'd be
but
funny
scary at the same.
Yeah. I don't know what he's doing. I don't want to unmute him and then him not being on, because the whole, like right now, the whole audience is laughing at him. It's like, Flash, where you at? Because I'm fitting to fuck up his. We've been messing with his sports page this whole freaking time. I know he's dying to talk about baseball teams.
It's been a while.
Yeah, so I know he's gonna freaking get upset because we're gonna be trashing baseball. We're gonna mess up the dealio there.
It's also NCAA college basketball tournaments too.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, March Madness and all that drama.
My favorite time of the year.
It's like, well, if you're into basketball and shit, yeah. I remember a day when I was at the, I attended said event. I was supposed to have attended it, but I was too busy hanging around Mardi Gras. It was fucking fun as shit. It was a blast. I will never forget that. You're here for the NCAA tournament? There's a tournament? What?
What? Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras. It was a blast. I did not participate in the bead throwing stuff because I don't have the accoutrements to do such things. But what's up with that? Flash, dude, come on! What are you doing? I want to shoot the shit. I want to make fun of sports. You won't let us do it. Oh man, you okay, dude? Are you all right? I mean, everything. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what's up, Branko? I haven't seen you in a while. Fuck, where you been, dude? Yeah, I'm about to say. I guess Tyler, you're right. Fucking. He probably went to take some laxatives or something like that. He said he was okay. He was drinking. I don't know. He's like, he probably.
Maybe he got lost.
I don't know, man. That was like pretty. That was pretty. Interesting. Where you at, Flash? Flash. Come on back, Flash. I see you're doing something right there. I can totally tell. Anyways, let's go back to some other news and shit. So, I'm totally going to mess up your sports page, Flash. That's what I'm talking about. Yep. Everyone's like going, yeah, mess it up.
Like Game of Thrones style?
Yeah, exactly, dude. Are you still alive, Flash? Now, okay, yeah. So, we're sitting out a party to go fetch him out and go find him to see where he is at. But other military news we can still talk about and discuss. So, no, God, stop it. Why do we want to talk about this? You guys want to talk about this stuff. Okay. So, is that necessary to talk about this stuff? Okay. Right now, currently, what's happening is that the whatchamacallits, the FARA's Act looks like it's possibly facing some sort of some drama. So currently, right now, everyone's talking about the FARA's. You guys know what the FARA's document is, where you cannot sue the military for any medical malpractice that is happening, obviously, that has happened to you. And hang on, we got someone there. Flash, you good? Okay, Flash. Yeah, Flash, dude. Oh man, hang on. We need to go ahead and send out some signals here because I'm worried, man. Flash is just like cut off.
No, I'm here.
Oh!
Sorry, I was. I'm using my dad's office to broadcast for WTF Nation Radio. Heard live all across social media and WTFNationRadio.com, and he had his DDT-14 out. So I was looking over, and we were kind of shooting the shit over.
Trying to produce some stolen valor with your dad? That's messed up, dude.
No, shoot, my dad. He's got a couple of MSMs, like a whole bunch of Archons, AMs, a bunch of Southeast Asia awards, the gold recruiter badge with 1 Sapphire achievement. Like, my dad's got his stack pretty good. He was telling me a story about he became the school NCO, and they sent him to I think it was PLD or something. It was one of the schools to be a sergeant.
PLDC was called back in the day.
There you go. So I sent his sergeant major was like, "Hey, you're leaving Monday," and it was Thursday. So he was single at the time, so he packed all his stuff and he went and he did the school. And his sergeant major came a week before his graduation and was like, cool, you're going to go to BNOC. When are they going to BNOC? You're going to go to BNOC like you're enrolled. Like you go, like you'll literally move your stuff from this course to that course. So he was telling me how, they're like, no, you can't be here. You have to have 6 months between. So he calls the sergeant major. Sergeant major comes flying down. He has a discussion with the school sergeant major, comes back and is like, and I guess you have to wait 6 months before you can do this. And then after 6 months, he was immediately re-enrolled and did BNOC. So it was kind of cool swapping school stories with the old man.
You told him like you had like a show to do, right? I mean, you just like just say, hey, pops, I love you, because I was sending an Imperial probe droid after your ass and shit, dude. I was about ready.
Well, apparently the XO wants to jump on, and hey, I haven't eaten dinner yet, so if you want to jump on, I ain't gonna like shit kittens or anything. Like
no, dude.
I was sitting going, I was like, I need to go check on the show.
I think I gotta go check on the show.
Well, I'm still kind of pissed off with that. I'm looking over. So I'm actually looking over Twitter right now, and no one, there was no other attempts to make contact. There was no other attempts for anything, and like I said, it hurts my soul a little that we have, and it's I guess it would be naive of me to think that everyone that we've talked to is on the up and up and stuff like that, and we've had even with our own ranks that we've had to kind of fine tune or whatnot. So it'd be naive of me to think that everyone's doing on the up and up, but it does hurt, especially when somebody's coming repping hidden wounds and and that organization and mental health and having a debate with you about mental health and stuff like that and causing mental grief onto other people, including a Gold Star spouse.
Right, dude. That's my whole thing. Because me, I mean, everyone. Not too many. My views on behavioral health and suicide prevention are not very popular with people. You know what I mean? So they're not like. So it was like to have somebody come on and talk about it, and then it's not one of those things to where, I kind of take seriously. I kind of take seriously when anybody comes on to WTF. I take them seriously. I mean, we'll jaw jack around for a little bit and shoot the shit about some of the guests and depending on what the guests are and the seriousness of what they're talking about. I mean, obviously I can't talk about like subjects with General Donahoe or General Beagle, but however, when they come on, it's game on. We're serious about what we want to provide to the audience, and we want to make sure we give them an informed veteran view to it. And I still shake my head, dude. I still shake my head.
It's not. It's we do provide a free air to get out to thousands of people, and it does hurt that we wasted a show. We wasted time with somebody who knowing that we were going to talk about this, because like we're very honest with people on social media. We tagged that Red was going to be coming on the show to talk about Moock. We're going to talk about him. He made a comment going, why wouldn't you come to me? Which was funny because you hit him up several times. You tagged him several times going, hey, what's up? And there was no attempt to say anything. He didn't DM you, correct?
Correct. I got no
he
DMs.
He didn't make any contact. It's not like he doesn't have Mom's email or Spanky's email. It's not like he doesn't have any kind of way to communicate with us to say, hey, I want to clear the air. He didn't DM the station, but then he wants to say that, oh, you should have came to me, first for these lies the night of the minutes before the show. And then because I had to ask Mom, hey, what's the call-in number? And then replied back, here's the call-in number. We'd love for you to come on the air and talk about this. Like, this wasn't we're not trying to, the goal was not to gang up on him. The goal was we're getting out information. Now, if only one side's willing to talk, well, we're only going to hear one side.
Right.
And, unfortunately, Red has a lot of information. You can look back on these threads. He has a lot of it that is, he has the documentation proof on Twitter to show you. It isn't hearsay. This isn't rumors. This isn't trolling. There are actual people involved, and there's actual documents, and there's screenshots of these tweets that are showing that hey, you can be of the same sex persuasion and still be still be an asshole. Like, just because you're saying because you like men or you like women does not mean that you can you're truncated from being an asshole.
Right. And it wasn't an excuse.
A lot of the stuff he did was being a straight up asshole, and not instead of answering questions, just is making it worse and calling people homophobic. Which I looked at some of the stuff, and no one was really being homophobic, but just because they challenge you or ask you a question you can't just immediately throw that.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're homophobic when we're trying to get down to the bottom of a story that's coming up. Your sexual preference has nothing to do with what we're trying to find out. You know what I mean? That's not what we're trying to find out. It's just that these are facts that were not provided. I mean, really, it's a dignity thing with me as well, dude. No, it didn't happen. This is something that you don't, to come out like that.
Yeah, and so we still, Moock, hey, if you're listening, come on the show. Red's not on there, so now you have the rest of the time to talk to us. Tell us how he's wrong, and set the record straight. This is your opportunity. We've sent you. We've tagged you on Twitter. This, you have the call-in number. You have the other way to get a hold of us on the station. There is no reason why you cannot jump in and let's talk. So you not talking is like, well, it's going to be to me. It's like you have nothing to say.
Once the
guilty.
Once the show closes tonight, that's it. That's it. That would have blown his chance, and that'd be it. There'd be no more. After that, we're just gonna fucking move on to the next thing, because we're not gonna fucking focus on that individual. We're gonna focus on the family. That's the way I see it. You know what I mean? That's the whole fucking. That's the whole thing we could do now. We're wasting. There's a saying as a first sergeant is that most of your time is spent. Of the 20% you're spending on good soldiers, that 80% is spent on bad soldiers in your company. I'm not gonna do that. So we're gonna focus on the family.
And you know what? We were able to talk with Red. We got a lot of information out. We're going to do WTF and US Army WTF Moments is going to do our best to help out the Gold Star family, because that's what we do as helping ourselves and helping our vets and families. We're going to do our part with this process that we can, and the rest, we're just not going to have anything to do with Moock. Not saying we're going to have nothing to do with Hidden Wounds. But just with this individual, we're just not going to deal with him. And his circle's going to get small, and he's going to end up between his lies and how he acts to people. Granted, sometimes you have to be an asshole to people on social media. Got you. There's plenty of trolls, and sometimes you got to give them a good flick, a middle finger. But when you're basing it off of lies, perpetuating more lies, and then trying to call just because they challenge you, call people homophobic and shit like that. It doesn't work. You can't. It's just like not every conservative is a racist. Not every Democrat is trying to steal your guns and is a socialist. Crazy person. It doesn't work that way. And you can't flaunt that just because you're of a persuasion. That's your choice. But you know what? I hate to say it, but it's just not. I don't think he's going to call. And Red presented some really solid information.
Right, and if he's not going to come on, then fine. After that, we're going to go ahead and continue with the show. This is going to be wasted energy on that.
Damn right we are.
So currently, right now, some of the biggest drama I want to talk about on sports. I want to talk about this is that the Lakers is not going to go to the playoffs.
Dun dun dun.
Why is that? I thought LeBron James, King James, and Ball, and all those other guys were. GOAT and Well, what's up with that? What happened?
This is like only the second time he's not gone to the playoffs since he joined. And that was like his first year with the Cavaliers. It's just the NBA had a lot of shifts this year. One of them being that, the Lakers, the Lakers got LeBron, which they're wondering when he's going to go there. A lot of trades happening. And just weird enough that it just, for some reason, the Lakers just could not make, and this is the 6th year in a row the Lakers have missed the playoffs. I mean, Kobe Bryant must be like lacing up his sneakers right now going, okay, I can do better than this. After Los Angeles missed the playoffs, only 5 times in the first 65 years of the franchise existence. Friday's 111 to 106 loss to the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets.
The Nets.
For God's sake. Officially eliminated them out. LA at 31-41. LA is now a game worse than it was a season ago with 10 games left to play. That team, of course, did not have LeBron James. LeBron James is just, I'm not saying he's done, but the question, is he the best basketball player in the NBA?
No.
Is now not a question. Is no, he is not the best.
Nope.
Is he great? Yes, he was great. He is great, but he is not the best right now. I would argue, in my personal opinion, James Harden from the Rockets is potentially the best basketball player in the league right now. But that's up to debate because there's Stephen Curry, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant. I mean, there's a lot of really good people out there. But LeBron James, they weren't able to just sync up. Lonzo Ball, there was trade rumors. They were trying to get Anthony Davis from the Pelicans, which would have been who's another contender for best basketball player in the league right now, which alienated some people because they were about to send this huge package deal from the Lakers to the Louisiana Pelicans, and to ship out a lot of people, which rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. But it just, the chemistry wasn't there, the intensity wasn't there, and then we're going to sit you because you're
right. That's a good point.
We're gonna sit you because we might not make the playoffs, so we're gonna rest you. And Kobe Bryant's like, the only time I ever rested was when I wasn't playing. Like when I couldn't. The only time I was ever rested.
I think that was just too much play. There was too much involved with LeBron in the Lakers, like to completely, fully sell him in. You know what I mean? There was just too much. Like right now, everyone doesn't know who. I mean, the lists are skewed when you hear about the best basketball players of all time and blah blah blah. Everybody knows that it's Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Larry Bird, and Kobe. LeBron would be the dead last. That's just team old school freaking. I'm pretty sure that if someone jars my old memory about what other players as well, it would probably click, but it would not be LeBron. I'm not, like you said, we're not saying that he's not a bad player. He's not good. Because you also have Bill Russell, Tim Duncan, Charles Barkley. You know what I mean? You also have other school, Julius Erving, Dr. J. You have old school guys that are considered good. I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like you were talking about the energy and the chemistry. It almost seemed like the Lakers were not really like wanting to have him on playing, and the other teams were like kind of like laughing at him, like rolling at the fact that, hey, LeBron, your own team doesn't.
They expected LeBron to shoulder the weight. Now he couldn't do it in the first round with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He couldn't shoulder the entire game, and especially in the Western Conference, which is arguably the stronger of the two conferences, West and East. They were asking, they had a bunch of rookies. They have a bunch of, reserve folks. It's just, if there wasn't a team around him to help in Miami, what did he have? It was the big three. Remember that?
Right.
Chris Bosh,
yep,
and Dwayne Wade and LeBron James.
Yep.
And there's three solid all-star players. He didn't have that here. His best player was like Lonzo Ball and the new kid they just drafted this year.
Yeah. So why is that that's different? But why is it different? Why is it a skew on different lists? On why is it that they just couldn't get it this year?
I think it's just they expected LeBron James to shoulder the weight and he couldn't. He's getting LeBron is great. I'm not going to say he's not. I don't think when it comes to, I think Michael Jordan reigns supreme. But LeBron's always wanted to go to the Lakers and always wanted to be king of LA. He got to LA and could not shoulder that crown. The crown that the last person to hold that crown was Kobe Bryant.
Correct.
It just, I don't blame LeBron James. He played, when he was playing, he played his heart out. I think there was a little stretch where he got hurt. I just think management did not put even a decent supporting team around him. He has some guys that in a year or two are going to be really good, but they're not right now. And LeBron he needed some more help. When you can double team LeBron and leave somebody open because LeBron's either going to try to take it to the hole or shoot it from the key because he doesn't trust anyone else to get it there.
Right.
They're gonna lose a lot of games that way.
And not to mention the fact that he looked tired when he was doing it.
He looks tired now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He looked tired during his pregame interview. Like, it's just the Lakers. The Lakers for the last 6 years have not had like a great team. Even with Sir Magic Johnson at the helm, putting this team together, there's just pieces that aren't working. Now, what's going to happen in the offseason? Anthony Davis might get, he still has like 2 years with the Pelicans. Will the Pelicans actually use this year to leverage more, to get more for Anthony Davis? There's a bunch of free agents they can give max contracts to. Because you have to remember, basketball's set up a little different with how they get paid. It's not like baseball where you have Mike Trout getting like $430 million.
We're gonna hit that next. Go ahead.
So
Continue.
how they structure, and they have caps, and so how they structure the teams is a little different. But it's just, I don't know if they spent too much money on LeBron and they weren't able to put a supporting cast where they got to rely on all these rookies that should be sitting, that are starting, that should be sitting in a reserve spot because they're just not ready. Or maybe just LA got to him. I mean, he went from the from the Cavaliers to the Heat to the Cavaliers, and now he's, Miami is a good sized market, but it's not New York, it's not LA. He finally went to LA, and I think the spotlight shone a little too bright, and Do you
think it was overhyped? Do you think him going to LA kind of was overhyped a little bit?
I don't think it was overhyped. I mean, I think if it was like maybe 4 or 5 years earlier, I think they probably would have like hyped it better than it was. But I mean, he's getting old. I mean,
dude, I'm telling you, he's not.
Dwayne Wade's on his last
Yep.
Dwayne Wade is retiring. I mean, the people that even 5 years ago who were killing it are starting to leave the game. Tim Duncan left, Nash, Jason Kidd's. I think he's still the head coach of the Nets, or at least or just got kicked out. Was it last year or whatnot? But like all these players that were killing it in the early 2000s are out now. LeBron James is, I think he's still got a couple years in him, but his game is going to have to change. He can no longer single-handedly dominate other teams to win.
He just can't. Lonzo, I think is gonna outshine him, dude. I honestly think that LeBron is not Lakers legacy, because you think about Lakers legacy. What do you think? You think Kobe, Magic, Kareem. You think about you even think about Shaquille as well, Shaquille O'Neal. Fans were ready for the reception. I don't think that King James, you whatever you fucking did on whatever team he played on before, the Cleveland. Was it Cleveland?
It was Cleveland.
Yeah. So that they were, you could believe that hype all you want, but when it came to the Los Angeles Lakers, there was just no. You think LA Lakers? I don't think of LeBron as a Lakers fan. I don't think about any of them. I just honestly, that legacy's moving out. There is no who is the top one right now. We got freaking. We also have right now currently the Lakers just beat the freaking what did they beat? They just beat somebody.
Well, right now in the Eastern Conference, the Milwaukee Bucks are 55-19, Toronto Raptors are 51-23, the Philadelphia 76ers are 47-27. And the Indiana Pacers 45-29. And then in the Western Conference, Golden State Warriors 50-23, Denver Nuggets 49-23, Houston Rockets 47-27, Portland Trailblazers 45-27. And then the Clippers are 44-30. And then you look all the way down. Granted, the Phoenix Suns are the worst at 17-57, but eliminated the Los Angeles Lakers with the Timberwolves, Pelicans, Grizzlies, Mavericks, 32-41.
Right. Warriors are like fucking the top of the fucking Pacific.
Granted, it could be worse. You could be the New York Knicks that are 14-60.
Right. Well, Knicks suck, Mets suck, Yankees suck. But anyways, so what's up with? So tell us.
And deleting ice off of everything.
So tell us about what happened in baseball. There's a little bit of controversy saying that old dude is also using this as an opportunity to recruit other people to go with him. Is that true? So first off, so tell us about this fucking contract. What happened?
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. We've been talking about, we've touched on baseball quite a bit. We're in the last exhibition games are happening. The Yankees were playing the Nationals. A lot of teams have moved away from their spring training camps in Arizona or in Florida, and they went back home to play like an exhibition game. Some crazy things happening. We talked about Manny Machado. We talked about Bryce Harper, and it was pretty crazy that both of them were able to get big contracts. Trying to look up the exact numbers. So Manny Machado was the first person to get signed. Manny Machado was the first person to get signed, which a lot of people thought Bryce Harper was going to be it. A lot of suitors, the Yankees were showing a little bit of interest, but kind of backed off. You had the Dodgers. I think he got more money than he really should have, but he decided to give the San Diego Padres, who came in the last, I wouldn't say the 11th hour, but around like 9:30, he gives the San Diego Padres a chance. They gave him $300 million for 10 years, and that's quite a bit, and a good bit of that is guaranteed. And then Bryce Harper. Got, was it 300 and I want to make sure I have this correct. He got 13 years, which is unheard of. Granted, he's only like 26. So he's going to, he's pretty much going to be on this team for the He's going to be on this team for the rest of his career. Cuz a lot of these guys have no trade no trade clauses in there, but he got signed by the Phillies, which is an interesting team. A lot of people, did think that the Phillies were going to sign. I think he got something like $330 million for 13 years, but then Mike Trout goes, hold my Trout, and extends with the Los Angeles Angels. Granted, the Los Angeles Angels haven't even won a playoff game yet. They haven't gone to a World Series. They haven't even made it far in the playoffs, but they are betting everything on Mike Trout. Now,
everything. Granted, how much does everything cost?
12 years for $430 million. That is the biggest contract in all of sports and all of baseball. Dwarfs when A-Rod got a crap ton of money from the Yankees and Albert Pujols got a bunch of money from the Angels before. $430 million for 12 years. That's 1 year less than Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper went from being the most paid baseball player to being the second most paid baseball player in a very short time frame. Now, a lot of people thought, well, so Manny Machado signed a 10-year, $300 million, and Harper signed a 13-year, $330 million. So, an extra $100 million for one less year from a baseball player who has not even been on a team that won a playoff game, which goes to show that baseball is a team sport, and they don't hold that against them. Let's talk
is he
about
worth it? Is he worth it though? Is he worth that much?
Seasons, out of the three, if there's somebody I'm going to spend big money, Mike Trout is it. He averages 307 in the last 8 seasons. He's got 240 home runs, 648 RBIs, and his slugging is .990. He's consistent. He's a great role model on and off the field. Mike Trout, even when he was, he wasn't even sure he was getting an extension, was talking with the GM and talking with the coach about players he sees in the minor leagues, and and gives them advice and talks to them, because he wants to cultivate a winning team. And he also, I mean, a 307 average in over 8 seasons is pretty fucking phenomenal. A lot of times you get, you're looking at like closer to like 260, between like 240 to 260, but he's like 307. That means, and his on base percentage is pretty high too. He's always getting on base. He's always hitting it. And yes, 240 dingers in eight seasons is pretty fucking phenomenal. For me, for Flash, between the three, the Angels have, even though they paid him some crazy money, and they're kind of hate themselves if they can't, with baseball there is no cap. There is a luxury tax threshold. Once you pass it, you start paying a percentage, and that money goes to the lower market teams. Helps them, as part of the collective bargaining, helps them stay competitive and everything, so they can hire people. But it also kind of deters people from, giving everyone a freaking, $300 million contracts. So it'll be interesting to see what the Angels do to build up, whether they're going to say, hey, maybe they have enough young guns that they can just field a good team and make a run, or what. But they're going all in on Mike Trout, and I don't think it's a dumb move at all. If there's somebody I'm going to go all in on, yeah.
Do you think there's going to be a pennant coming up, like within the first couple of years, probably 3 years of him playing?
You know what? It solely depends on what the Angels do. If the Angels start putting actual, some pieces around, this year the team looks good. I don't know if the team is going. I think they're going to be in a playoff hunt, but I think they are going to be outside looking in. That's just basing off of spring training right now, and it's a long season that's starting. I think the season actually starts third. Well, technically the season already started. The legendary Ichiro in Japan came back to play with the Seattle Mariners for the 2 games they were there, and retired from baseball. The legend, the guy who pioneered, slapping hitting the ball away and hauling ass downfield. He retired with the Oakland Athletics and the Seattle Mariners, playing in Japan. So he was able to retire in the same uniform he had played for the majority of his career. He did a little stint with the Yankees near the end of his career, but he retired with the Seattle Mariners in Japan. Ichiro deserves it. So technically the season has started, but the real, like everyone else, opening day is Thursday. So, yay, can't wait, super excited. I think the Angels still need some work to do. It's good to know you have him for a long time, and that is not a question mark. Because a lot of people thought, well, Mike Trout might try to, if he goes in free agency, could we see Bryce Harper and Mike Trout at Philadelphia, which they were, Philly was trying to get both. They're going for everything. They wanted Manny Machado and Bryce Harper, or Mike Trout and Bryce Harper, or Manny Machado and Mike Trout. Like, they were going for whatever. Now we know that at least one player is staying out west, and the National League has gotten a lot tougher with Manny Machado and Bryce Harper staying in the one moving to the National League and one staying in the National League. Man,
I think it's going to be a good year, because I think all these new up and comers. I mean, all this money's moving around. All these teams are paying big loot.
There's definitely been a lot of money moving around. Mike Snell, or Blake Snell, who the minor leagues for the Tampa Bay Rays, who was he pitched so well, he was I think won the Cy Young for the American League, got a big extension. I don't remember the money, but he got a big extension by the Rays, which was pretty good, because I mean, he's pretty phenomenal for a young guy. Great control. It doesn't have super speed to like dominate the shit out of you, but he's got great control. So he like a surgeon, just like cuts the batter's box. Now, weirdly enough, there's going to be a couple of changes to baseball starting next year. One of them of which is pitchers are managers will no longer be able to just, how sometimes they, a new batter comes up, a new pitcher, they get a new pitcher right away. And then, they get that person out, and then the next batter comes up, and then they get a new pitcher to face that person. That's no longer going to happen. Right now, they're talking the 2020 season. When you bring in a new pitcher, they have to face a minimum of 3 batters. And so that's going to drastically change.
A minimum of 3 batters. So if the guy...
you bring someone in, he has to face 3 batters or end the inning.
So what if he what if the 4th batter fucking hits a home run?
2 more to go.
Oh, that's
because,
crazy.
You know how long, you've seen it, how right now baseball games are averaging like 2 hours and like 40 minutes to 3 hours. Granted, I grew up on it, and that's where I learned some of my patience, was because I can watch baseball and still be entertained from first inning to 9th. But sometimes, you're in the 8th or 9th inning, and they pitch to one guy, they get him out, or he gets on base, and then they go and they bring the next person in. Well, that's like an extra 5 to 6 minutes of the guy's got to walk on the field. There's a lot of commercials. You got to throw the ball around, get warmed up, and then he goes, and then they get that guy out, and then they bring it, and then the lefty comes up, so they bring in another pitcher. It's another 5 to 10 minutes waiting for that pitcher to get in and get warmed up. It takes forever. But there's a lot of gamemanship with that, with the, it's how the managers, work their bullpens. This will force them to really think about who they bring in, because you're not going to be able to go, well, it's the 9th inning, and I have all except 2 people in my bullpen. I'm going to use them all to get these outs. You can't do that. You're not in 2020. You're going to have to 3 guys or end the inning. So if you come in and one guy gets on base and you get 2 out, and they switch it out and you get the last guy out, go, you're done. They can go to the next guy. But it's all an attempt to speed baseball along. Right now in the minor leagues, they're actually working on having computers call balls and strikes, which has been a highly contested thing.
I think it's awesome. I think technology nowadays, I'm serious, because I'm telling you, the umps and all this other stuff, and it's done computer-wise, and you could see it, because think about this. They use technology like a motherfucker to train. They do. They use a ton of technology to measure, map out where the ball is going to go, how it's mapped out, throwing technique, and also they use motion capture systems to get a pitch down. All this high-tech crap. Why can't they do that?
I mean, I'm not saying they can't. They're still working on feeling it. They had some issues this last season with some of the instant replay and some of the extra computer stuff, because they're still trying to balance competitiveness and the human element with speeding up the game, and it's a juggling thing of what they're trying to do. Right now there is no this is going to happen in any time frame for Major League Baseball. It's currently being tested out in the minor leagues right now. And what it would give is, you can actually challenge balls and strikes as a ump if you feel like the machine got it, or as a manager if you feel the machine got it wrong, and that's one of the things they're working on.
If police laser technology, if police officers can give you a fucking speeding ticket and you can't refute it, why can't baseball do it? See, baseball. This is where the crybaby.
It's going to require pitchers. It's going to be. I think the bigger strain is going to be on pitchers because depending on who your ump is, that you have a little more leeway away than you do inside. Like he's going to call the stuff, way in. He's not going to call the stuff inside. But if you're, on the outside corner, low and outside, he's going to call it. He's going to call it a strike when other umps might not call that. There is a bit of the human element, but then it also will standardize it, and where you need to throw the ball.
No way. I think umps are stupid now at this point. I think that we no longer need them since they're talking about using technology and stuff like that. Hell yeah, dude.
I mean, it's getting there. I mean, it's not like umps have been bad for baseball, but they're still needed in baseball because you don't need a computer to tell you're safe at first or not. But when it comes to balls and strikes, I think we're getting to the point where these games are super competitive, and I think baseball has kind of had an upswing in popularity over the last couple of years. Especially with like the Indians and the Cubs making the World Series, which was great for baseball. Even this year, even last year with the fucking Red Sox, but still, I mean, it was it was a good World Series, and they were good games. And so I think we're on an uptick, but there is still the human element that some blown calls and some really bad strikes and some managers getting kicked out because they're arguing balls and strikes, and the home plate umpires is not going to have it. I mean, there's this, but that's still time. That's still far off. But the big change coming up next year, one of the highlighted big changes is the 3 batter rule per pitcher change. So that's all going to be, man. I'll tell you what, that's going to be interesting to watch next year. Because I know some people are going to hate it.
No, I think the technology factor should come in. Reason why is because, like going back before, how they use all. Look, if you're not going to use, if you're going to use technology for all the stuff to train up a pitcher, or because I see, you see all the ESPN videos of those guys training up and using computer simulations and where the ball should go and all that stuff, and they're using that to measure how good a pitcher is. Well, then fine, use that same technology to apply it to a strike or a ball. And it's easy. As a matter of fact, you just have to sit there and you could shoot it across the freaking field and just grid across the goddamn, the catcher. And if he throws it in, he throws it in. If he doesn't, he doesn't. That's fine. We have to change the ball or something like that to maybe have some sensor technology or some shit. But
they're also talking about. Oh, that's another thing. They're also talking about changing the composition of the baseball. The biggest thing is. Baseball pitchers are not allowed to use pine tar. They're not allowed to use any kind of sticky substance or even dirt on the ball. I mean, they can kind of lick their finger, but then they have to like kind of wipe it away at the same time. But batters can use pine tar for the bats. So they're talking about going to this different type of baseball. I think that's another thing that's kind of being tested in the minor leagues that's kind of like it has a stickier substance actually in the baseball. So pitchers automatically can get a better grip on it. Like, especially when it's cold, it's hard to get a grip on these baseballs when they're dry. But, batters can just grab pine tar. So it's like almost like a slight film of tackiness to it, but it gives the pitcher more control on that baseball. I mean, so that's another thing is, the type of baseball being used might change in the next couple of years. But hey, we do want to say thank you to all our new Twitter followers. I think we netted something like 20 followers over the last 2-3 hours. But we're just in case you didn't know, we're on Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on the Mixer channel. I don't think we did. Did we say any hi? Are we on Mixer right now?
Yeah, and everything's good except for the Facebook drama of cross posting. That we're all up.
Facebook and Zuckerberg's trying to stick it to us again.
Yeah, all of our ups are ups. I was even in the Periscope chat watching and throwing a comment in there, seeing all the hearts. Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys joining us in the Periscope app as well.
Yeah, we have a lot of people in Periscope.
Yeah, so we appreciate you guys attending. Hey, this schedule, of course, with all the guests that we have coming on and all that. Just, stay, keep abreast, stay informed. Follow the page. Again, you got this today in the last couple of shows shared onto U.S. Army WTF Moments due to the fact that, of course, Facebook is going through some more changes again and is messing up our shit. Yeah, exactly. So don't worry about it. If anything else, like we said before in the beginning of the show, if you can't find the WTF Nation Radio at WTFNation.com, or go to ArmyWTFMoments.com and go to the WTF Nation Radio tab, like I said, like Flash said, on all the other social media platforms. because there's so many of them. Our next guest is going to be on the 31st of March. It's going to be Chris Heflin from the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association. I've seen these guys rolling around. These are the guys are the one that have the orange, black, and gold with spade and a skull on the back of the jacket.
Yeah, I see them a lot in the D.C., Northern Virginia area.
Right,
like a lot.
Rolling Thunder, they used to do that a lot before Rolling Thunder got canked out. So the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association is an association of combat vets from all branches of the United States Armed Forces who ride motorcycles as a hobby, and their mission is to support and defend those who have defended our country and freedoms. Their focus is on our fellow veterans and active service members, and it may involve helping a vet care facility provide warm meal, clothing, shelter, or simply just say thank you and welcome home. They're going to be on Kicking It with Cows with Cause and Ow, rocking the Team Old. Tomorrow we have Tied Up Tuesday with Minx. Hey, she didn't have a show because, like I said before, she works. She does stuff. Everyone here does stuff. So if we can't get a show out, it's because she was doing stuff. We're not gonna penalize her on that shit. Wednesday's obviously a no broadcast day. Thursday, Sergeant's Time. And Friday, of course, Friday Night Freedom's on Powell's right now. Tinfoil Times is on pause because Jay Rady's on leave. Him and freaking Owl. Hey, we really thank y'all for joining us tonight. I am not going to apologize for anything I fucking said because that's the way I fucking feel.
No.
And that's the way
I meant every fucking word I said today.
Right. So, again, thanks, Red, for coming on. We appreciate you joining us from the deep recesses of Pineland. And with that, we're going to go ahead and kill it. So y'all have a good night, and shots, Space Wars!
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Intergalactic horse, and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. Now they say that they've discovered life up there on Mars, so let's blow it all to hell and then claim it for ours. We'll paint the moon red, white, and blue for no other reason than we wanted to. Oh, Jupiter, imagine what you could become. A stupid, pointless planet turned into a giant gun. And Russia, so sorry, have to burst your bubble. Be a good sport now, sit back, relax, and watch us through the Hubble as we celebrate the greatness of the United Planets of America. Space Force, Space Force. We'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. go to infinity and beyond, beyond. You'll hear all manly voices singing Space Force strong. The critics say sound doesn't travel in space, to which we reply sound will do as we say. Oh, Captain Kirk, your achievements, though notable and fine, as far as we're concerned, this is Deep Space Mine. And big fans, but Lord Vader, step away from the lightsaber. There can only be one, of course. Space Force. Ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum-dum-dum-dum, ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. Space Force, Space Force. We'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun. Yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. Space
Good evening, boys and girls. This is Tim Kennedy. I'm a Special Forces sniper, a Ranger qualified Green Beret, a UFC fighter. Please listen to us and the shenanigans that we're going to say. We will insult you. There will be racial slurs. We will be sexist. We will offend you. But there will be magic, and a unicorn will be raped. So enjoy the show. Thank you for listening on WTF Nation Radio.